You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
With the first pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Nyziah Jr. from Brigham Young University.
That is drilled left field. That one's back on its way. It's out of here. Dansby Swanson gets into one. And that's hit well. Deep into left center field and off the top of the wall. And now they make the call that it's gone. Punish lefty. Swinging a high fly ball into right center field, carrying back McCarthy. He's looking up, and that ball's gone. Home run into the bullpen. And a really nice night. Gets a lot nicer for Williard. Bryson smokes for the deep right field toward the pole. It is gone! He did it! A 3-run explosion for Bryson Stott. And the Phillies are back on top. It's 11-8.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Were you mocking me?
No.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm just, I'm nice and calm and serene and relaxed.
Did you get a haircut?
I got one on Friday.
Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, the hat was fit. It looked like you had a Shane going on.
This is a new hat though.
Is it?
Yeah. Got it down at the baseball village.
Is that why you were so busy yesterday?
No, I just need a little break from my phone.
Yeah, so I'm doing that today.
There was a lot of text messages, and there was a certain point where I was like, I'm not catching up.
I'm tapping out today.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. Which I appreciate an active group chat, but sometimes I'm just not in the right mental state for it.
The funny thing was somebody goes, it might have been Demo. He was like, "Where's Ravi?" And I was like, I don't know. Where is L3?
So
L3 had a bunch of hot takes with hoops.
So here's what happened.
Hey, did you go back and listen to Ant?
Mm-hmm.
He's wild.
Yeah. No, he
Ant Wright is officially certified.
I just can't wait to hear the terms on the bet I'm going to win about Darren Peterson.
Oh, hey, I don't know if you know this, but DP's mad. He's gonna remember that.
Cool.
Well, let me say that before people go,
Kobe Light.
Just no. Come on, man.
He went too, man. He's gonna be pissed. That's a difference in about 20 mil.
That's fine. What happened with like all the other next gonna be greats? Like where's Harold Miner these days?
Baby Jordan.
Where's J.R. Ryder?
Oh, leave Isaiah out of this.
I mean, there's just a laundry.
Was that Losing Isaiah? Was that the movie with Halle Berry, Losing Isaiah? Shane, you ever see that show? AJ isn't old enough. Robbie doesn't watch good TV.
I have not seen it. I'm sorry.
Is it Losing Isaiah? I think it's Losing Isaiah.
Don't worry.
One of those moms that
about.
was trying to get her little dude back.
We do have Halle Berry in a Losing Isaiah movie. That is correct.
Yeah.
Look at that Googling. You see how fast that was?
Yeah, that's weird for you.
Nailed it.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know. Felt like a finger guns morning.
I don't even know.
What's going on?
I don't even know what to
with
do
with Ahmad Hudson.
I don't even. Yeah, that was funny. That was a little windy.
That's what we were going for.
It was the caption that they posted online is I was trying to get caught back up from last week.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, I thought that was I'm glad that people picked up
that was the
Windhorse reference.
Very funny.
It's a little niche, but I'm glad people got it.
Niche. You're just full of them this morning, aren't you? My little.
It's a deep cut. Is that better? It's a
diversified friend.
It's a little deep cut.
Niche.
Or some people say niche. Not my particular pronunciation.
It's too early to get. It's too early to get started on race relations. We'll just let you slide with niche. I yelled out the window this morning. Hopefully my neighbors are okay with me.
What, you yell at Scott?
Yeah, he had the fam out. They were like
the whole crew?
I mean, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I rolled down the window. I said, "Diapers locked and loaded." He was like, "All right."
The picture you tweeted out of Bella yesterday was wild.
Oh, and the big diaper? Why?
It looked like it was on there pretty good, though.
Yeah, that's how. And she's not as surly with it.
My favorite of I think I've seen 3 Bella diaper pictures now. My favorite one is the one where she's like in the onesie and
sitting by the door,
and
miserable.
she's like, she looks like a disheveled like old lady in a home where she's just like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, I didn't.
Why'd you put me here?
She just was not staying in the onesie. But the Velcro diapers didn't come until at nighttime.
Oh, okay. Those seem to work okay.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, I've washed them a couple of times. You know, it's not exactly foolproof, but with the pad, and it's good. It's way better than. The only downside is when she goes out, right? It's got to come off.
Yeah.
So
that is a hassle.
I don't want her to run around with a case of the Shanes. It's fine.
It's ridiculous.
It's fine.
He seems like he's feeling better today.
Yeah, he was in a much better mood this morning.
Where's the foul?
Which was fine. Shane, I'll take you any way I can get you.
So I'm walking in this morning. He goes, "Hey, we need to test the mics. It looks like somebody was in there." And you know how I get when people mess with our stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's okay." I was like, "No, it's not. Nobody's supposed to be in there.
So
not okay."
It was me. I was in there and I didn't use any of the stuff.
Okay, then you're good. See?
So here's the thing. Why did you let Neutron get away with it on Monday? Because he goes, "Hey, starting in a couple minutes, can I get a mic check?"
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "That's the first time we've done that."
Oh, the mic check wasn't the problem. Him telling me people were in here was the problem.
Oh, so
until you found out it was me.
Yeah, now it's okay because he works on the show.
Just the testing of the levels. It was
also to talk to Barry Kittrell. So
yeah, that's so.
Yeah, you're okay because you're not going to put everything. You're going to put everything back where it's supposed to be.
Yes, nothing was touched. The only thing that was left out was probably the little shelf thing.
Yeah, see,
his delivery is so serious.
He's gonna make sure everything's okay.
Hey, I will say this though: we probably need to move to the next phase of setting this up. We kind of just have left stuff.
That's true. We need a TV.
And it's okay if we put some of the coverage and the cases and stuff away. This looks still a little too day one-y, makeshifty.
We need to get a TV in here. We need a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Those would be my 1 and 2 on the list.
So what's next? Red zone?
What do you mean?
For film study.
Oh yeah, it's Calandria in the red zone for UNLV.
Calandria in the red zone.
I'm also gonna do.
Guys, so are we getting Calandria back for another year?
It certainly appears that way. We'll know for sure today.
I can't wait for how long these guys are tied up in court. This is going to be fascinating.
It's going to be super fun, unless legislation passes before that.
I mean, they can play, but I can't. This is going to be great.
I mean, you have a year left now, right?
I think I'm out.
Get out there.
I need 136 hours to graduate. That, and I can't even run down the stairs. So,
well, luckily, there's no stairs on a football field.
Yeah, for whatever the reason, we started using a gate on the.
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't really know what that's about.
Try and keep the dogs out there, or what?
I mean, they're fine.
Yeah. I say they're pretty. They seem pretty well behaved.
Yeah. Although Bella's not afraid to disappear.
She's little.
Yeah. She can get.
Can I pet that dog?
Just about anything.
So that was my one thing. I was like, please don't go into the deck. Please don't go into the deck.
Oh, she'll come back. You could have left her.
No, I know, but it's like I'm not gonna I don't know, if I'm over there letting somebody's dogs out or something, I'm not gonna be like, well, that dog's on the deck now. I guess I'm going home.
Please don't. Don't go to the deck. Please don't.
The first time I think I went over there, I don't know if it was with her or just the boys, but one of them went on the deck, and I was like, come on, man. And you didn't have the doggy door at that point. And so I was like, no, I got to go get this dog.
Can I get that dog?
I got to lure him out.
Yeah. So the diapers have been a hit. So I saw the fam. I wonder if one of my kids will walk with me when he's mid-50s, he's high 50s. Could you see anybody walking with me and the dogs?
Your best bet, Zoe.
Wow.
Just from a timing standpoint.
You think?
Well, yeah, because Caleb will be out of college, so he'll be doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Mike will be in college. Zoe will still be in the house, middle school. So mid-50s, that's your sweet
I've got to
spot.
guess his son is probably 25, 26-ish.
56 as of the 15th. Well, happy birthday, Scott.
Wait, this past 15th?
Yeah, June 15th.
Oh, man, happy birthday. Did he tell me that?
Liquid thoughts, all dogs are good dogs. Don't be discriminatory.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
he said little dogs suck. I don't subscribe to that.
Wait, who said little dogs suck?
Liquid thoughts. That's why I was clapping back.
Oh, man, that's tough.
I'm not a little dog.
I was grandfathered into a little dog. I didn't originally.
Yeah, I know you wanted a Leon Burger. Wasn't that the one that is kind of like a bigger German Shepherd?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I like big dogs. I like little dogs. I like all dogs. Dogs are great.
I do not, but it's good. No, but the letter did get fired off, or the group text did get fired off last night. It is long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
would you like me to read it?
Hey,
No,
bud.
Yeah, it was the passive aggressive. Hey, hope to get this resolved amicably, but
just check it in.
I think I would feel different if I think I would feel different if they checked on the dog.
Sure.
Or yesterday morning that dog wasn't just barking at the top of its lungs at 6:20.
Yeah.
I'd have been a little more.
I'm so over cautious about my dogs not barking at odd hours.
Yeah.
If it's before 8 or after 9, I'm out there immediately to get them if they start barking.
So we have super cool neighbors on the other side, and they have 2 dogs that they walk all the time. I wonder what they think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they know the most about the neighborhood too. So I got to ask and get a feel for them.
That's a good call. See what the vibe is.
Yep. And they're dog walkers.
Yeah.
But they're early. They're out in the 5s.
Oof.
And their reins, cold. They're walking.
That's too much. That's too early.
But you could tell. He's a lot like Scott, they're super fit.
Yeah, good shape. And
yeah.
Well, there's a discipline to that, which I can appreciate, but I'm not getting up to walk dogs at 5 o'clock.
It's 5:10. I just see these, and I think they're retreat. I get them confused.
Goldens versus yellow labs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shorter hair.
Shorter hair is usually a yellow lab.
Yeah, shorter hair, not
Goldens have
the fringe.
That's usually a golden.
Yeah, it's the other.
Ava, Austin's dog, golden.
Should I bring her in tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
We love Ava.
That's a pretty chill dog.
Dude, that dog's awesome. I love Ava.
Pretty chill dog for having a ding dong owner.
Why would you say that about Dr. Fiance?
Well, Katie's her person. Or sorry, Dr. Fiance is her person.
It's okay. I've doxed her enough. It's
my
fine.
bad. I apologize.
No, I almost did it too. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay,
I try not to too.
Who was the original purchaser of the dog?
Me.
But
Ava
loves Dr. Fiance.
Yeah.
That would be tough.
Well, you like Shane more than me too, so.
What do you mean? Got to keep watering the bamboo.
Not really. It's kind of a toss-up.
I don't care.
We need to have a Hurrdat Sports employee draft, but only DB is drafting, and he just has,
everybody can be mad.
Yeah, he's just a power rank, and not just.
It just depends on what I need,
and just just overall. It's just overall.
Everybody has their thing that they're good at.
So then you have to. It's much like the NBA draft. You have to value and power rank your needs on any. Be like, hey, this is my need most of the time. We want this guy or gal.
Had you ever?
Who is your Darren Peterson of Hurrdat Sports?
Oh, the super high ceiling guy.
No, the guy who always cramps and doesn't show up.
He's got the poops.
Would this be a blind 5?
I saw another one yesterday of cut or keep candy bars.
Yeah.
Or candies. And I was like, ooh, that'd be tough. There are so many candies.
You have somebody in mind for DP, don't you, Austin?
Cut 5, keep 5.
I don't. Not off the top of my head.
So
I was going.
Can you guys just answer me something?
What's that?
Do you think when they sat the parents or the guardians or the grandparents or whomever they were,
TK, that's a good call.
Why couldn't they teach them how to use a mic?
That reminds me of my favorite draft day moment ever. Have you seen that before? I think it was the NBA draft a couple years ago where they're like, how far has your family come to get here? And they're like, we drove 8 hours. And the ESPN lady was like, oh,
and I can't remember her name.
Ask a better question, lady.
Is it Lisa Salter? Who likes, I mean,
who does the draft often?
Is Lisa's gonna Google? Just gonna Google. Almost really stepped in it pretty early this morning. Yep, that would be her. Yeah, Lisa Salters did a good job trying to get info out of.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, trying to get info out of the families that apparently didn't. I mean, the mics. I felt like day one with Sasha, where she'd make me eat that thing. She'd be like,
closer, DB.
I was like, but didn't somebody like spit on this? Get it closer.
Speaking of drafts as well, I got a very horrible notification yesterday that we scheduled our listener draft for Friday. So we probably should move that.
We'll do it after the break.
Okay.
We'll do it after the break.
Oh man, I was looking forward to that.
I thought we did it in.
Actually, I'm not, because I don't think we have enough names compiled.
So we need to like put a date on the calendar and make sure the sports bar is cool with it, and get the invites out. Much like
no. See, you guys did this while I was gone. We're not doing the whole meetup thing.
Why not? We'll be on a stage. We'll be separate. We'll get security for you.
We're gonna be all right.
No, we need people to come. I want people to come up on the stage. We like give them a Hurrdat Sports hat and say, "Welcome to the team."
See, I see a lot of executive decisions get made in my absence.
I want this to be the most ridiculous, overly serious thing that we do, where we like have the music. We're like with the first pick. We need somebody to announce the draft. We need to bring somebody in to announce the draft.
With the first pick in the 2026 Hurrdat Sports Live Draft.
Can we get team hats?
I would also love a Mel Kiper character to be there too.
Yes. Dot. You cannot take TK number one. You can't do it.
Padilla. That's Jacob's job.
He's gonna be like, hey, short shelf life.
Listen, high ceiling, low floor. Cannot take your number one pick with that.
Now, Captain has some character issues, but always performs in the chat. High volume.
He's going to show up. We know that for sure. Now, what you get when he gets there, total crapshoot, Todd. Todd, you can't take Captain number one. You can't do it.
Wow. Looking forward to this less and less.
I'm surprised they didn't institute the supplemental draft, Todd, for Game Dog. I thought they were going to do it. They didn't do it. They said it didn't meet the criteria.
Yeah,
we have no supplemental draft for Game Dog.
Too close to the deadline. Too close to the deadline.
Provided no supporting documentation. His issues are clear. We've all seen them. They didn't provide enough. Not enough criteria for a supplemental draft, Todd.
Oh man, they sliding in the Subaru hate. That's fine. I see a lot of Subarus on the road. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, so we'll reschedule for July. It'll be pre-football season for sure.
Hey, so somebody asked me, why aren't we working Friday? I didn't even know,
because we're taking the Hurrdat Sports summer break.
No, but why the random Friday? Why not just start at that?
So that way we get a couple weekends in the break instead of just the one.
Oh,
that way it wraps through 2 weekends.
Because this generation doesn't want to work, Damon. That's why.
Lazy Gen Zers.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've been saying.
Everybody keeps telling me what Sipple said. I feel like the line in The Fugitive. I don't care.
What did Sipple say?
I don't care.
TK texts me early, and he didn't even say good morning. He just fired off things. He said, Sipple said something yesterday, which is insane to me. He said that Trey would start over Calandria right now at Nebraska. Have you been more than shadowboxing him? No, I have not legitimately touched Stephen M. Sipple. If they played tomorrow, Calandri's the better quarterback.
Yeah, I
don't even like. Okay.
I don't think they have any interest in starting a true freshman quarterback again.
And we're not talking like ceiling. You know what I mean?
Like yes, Trey Taylor has an enormous ceiling,
way higher ceiling
than just about everybody.
So,
but like that's not where we're at right now. Anthony Calandri has played 3 years,
and to me, T2 was even better in person.
Yeah, I agree.
I wasn't enamored with the 11-on-11 film and highlights.
Yeah,
like it because it's hard to tell with quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
The ball.
But then when you
comes out of his hand,
when you see it live and the accuracy,
the ball placement's unreal.
Yeah, it's like, poop. We're gonna have to see that.
Well, the ball placement, the different types of throws, the ability to change arm angles, the ability to get his shoulder squared around on the run, the ability to throw and on target against the grain, against his body and momentum. There's just like everything you could want a quarterback to do, he can do.
5 for 5 gets super interesting now because I told you a couple weeks ago, Nebraska was making all the submission, all the requests for folks that
would get
that
grandfathered
they want to have the 5th year, the 5 for 5.
Yeah,
so it'll be very interesting.
I would imagine
because you don't get anything post spring, right?
I believe so.
At least, we'll get
from
the
final
ruling.
What they were talking about yesterday.
So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
would imagine Calandri is in that group.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty safe assumption of guys they would want back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's positive for Nebraska. You don't have to break in a quarterback basically 4 years in a row or 3 years in a row because it would be Raiola, Calandria, whoever would start next year, which is either Latif or I don't think they would want to start Trey as a true freshman. And that's not a reflection on Trey. I just don't think you want to start true freshman if you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trey, maybe the year after. I mean, you're talking about 3 or 4 years in a row breaking in a new quarterback. Like
although next year that would be a super mature team.
Yeah, if you get the 5 for 5 guys back next year, like you're cooking.
That would be a really mature team.
Yeah,
and a lot of those guys would be Nebraska's.
Yeah.
So
no, I think it actually can benefit Nebraska quite a bit. I'm pretty excited about that. If it
I
doesn't,
think I'm one of those weird guys too. I've said this for a couple months. The most exciting thing to me about 2026, if they play well, or at least well enough, it's they get to be an old football team.
Yeah, you finally get a chance to be old,
right? Like that's.
And I mean,
I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does. And I think you get a chance to be old for the first time, and you get a chance to continue the momentum with the 27 class and beyond. Like I think there's an actual buzz around Nebraska with the 28 and 29 classes as well. But I think there is a little bit of a wait and see because you don't have Trey was an early domino that really helped this 27 class kind of gain the momentum that it has in terms of high profile guys. But and he's done a great job. It seems to have peer recruited and everything. But since you don't have that
and they're
type of guy in 28,
they're not done.
Yeah, I don't think they're done at all.
I think they've got.
I mean, Ahmad Hudson still has to flip.
I think they've got 2 that they're looking at.
You think so?
Yeah.
Are they going to get that wide receiver from Penn State, you think? Khalil?
Potentially.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a nice get. That's a good get. 4-star Penn State.
Because I think they're really working towards sharpening up that wide receiver room.
I could see that. Seems like they're very specific on what they're looking for.
Of the four busiest coaches that I saw at Battle of the Boneyard were 2 of them make sense. Right? Dikale Shorts.
Yeah.
Addison Williams.
Yeah.
Coach Dvorak.
Sounds interesting.
I mean, I bet I saw him just as much as anybody.
Okay.
And obviously Keith Williams.
Yeah.
So it was Keith was everywhere, middle of both fields. He was all over the place. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think this. I mean, honestly, I think the 5-for-5 thing, if it ends up going through today, which it sounds like it's going to, I think it could be a huge, like, kind of boost for Nebraska.
Yeah, I wish I would have just gotten the age restriction, but I get what they're getting at.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they want guys. I mean, you don't want guys playing 6 years of college sports. Like, you just don't.
Yeah. So you have to. I just want to see the verbiage, right? Because
I'm sure there's
you
a
have to
religious.
you have to eat the Pavia thing.
Yeah,
because that was
Yeah, that was a court ruling prior.
Pre-court ruling. There are going to be a lot of guys that want to be in on that boat.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's why the legislation needs to pass so that they get the authority to enforce. Otherwise, you're going to have. Although I will say, if theoretically, right, because this is an NCAA rule, right? So theoretically, if you're young, I think you could go to JUCO for at least a year and still not start your clock, right?
So that's what I'm not sure of.
Because I didn't totally.
Once you enroll, can I leave?
What do you mean?
Like, but the clock just starts once I enroll, no matter what I do, right?
Yes.
Or is the clock starting when I leave high school?
So I think it started at your 19th birthday or when you enroll, but I think the enrollment has to be at an NCAA school since it's an NCAA rule. I think the thing with the court order was they're
I have a 10.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot, especially.
I mean, there's
a lot of kids that do that.
Boy sent me a message last night. B2. He was like, he goes, I'm looking at some of these clips of Micah. He looks big. Because what did he? I said, he weighed in, both camps, almost the exact same. 72 inches, either 191 or 192.
Yeah.
And he said, well, what was he last year? So for laughs and giggles, I looked at, because his physical is coming up in a week.
Yeah. So he was, I bet I can get this.
Go ahead.
So going into football season last year?
Yeah. So,
or going into school?
A year ago, almost to the week.
I bet he
on Children's Connect.
I bet he was 5'8.5", $168.
He was 5'9", 172.
Come on, that's pretty good.
He's 5'9", 172.
That's pretty good.
He's now 6 foot 191.
Yeah, no, he's grown a lot.
Like
he's grown quite a bit.
So I mean, sometimes like that's gonna happen
and for some guys that happens at like 18.
Yeah, I looked at so there's some interesting prospects. Like I looked at Cam Berry. Like Cam's a freshman.
He's tall.
And he looks old.
He does.
Right? Like Troy Pittman looks old.
Yeah.
Troy Pittman's looked the same for a long time.
Yeah. He looks like he's in college already.
So I think that's
so does Achille. Achille looks old.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
When because I had not seen him in person, like helmet off before.
Yeah.
And when somebody's like, yeah, that's him, and I was like, that guy's 30. What's no?
So I call I don't really know him, but like after passing, I was like, God, that's like grown face.
Yeah.
So I just started calling him grown face.
And he's like, who are you?
I don't call him that. Yeah, 5 for 5 is going to be fascinating because now and Coach Rule thought this a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's
been talking about this for
constraints, and I don't know who his source is, but
I mean, I think Dannon's pretty plugged in on the machinations of what the leagues and NCAA.
So they were already doing financial calculations about 8 months ago, right? I told you how they kind of wanted to do the 2-year contracts differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's fascinating how this has to go.
You gotta stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
It's just.
I think they've done a really good job of setting themselves up.
Yeah. And I think they think there's going to be an advantage if they develop like they think they can. I think they think the advantage is in their foreshadowing.
Oh, like their ability to see what was going to happen?
Yep.
I think that's right. Like they seem to have
it's got to happen.
Yeah.
In the weight room and off the field and then on the field to play the long game with development.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah. I'm glad that they haven't panicked and are still willing to try and look and build long term, because that's where you get into trouble, right? Is if you have a plan and then the results aren't quite there as fast as you want them to be, and then you kind of like pull the ripcord and like, we got to do something else. That's where you start getting in trouble. And so I'm glad they haven't done that yet.
Plus, it's like any good business, people, right? You want to find commodities that you're out in front of.
Yeah.
While you're getting them for relatively cheap, i.e. good high school players.
Yes.
Because the return on investment through those guys is going to be better than bidding on the short term year to year.
I mean, obviously you don't want to be transactional, but the reality of it is a high school player is cheaper to acquire than a high level transfer.
Yeah. That's why you want to be old.
Even when you look at like a multi-year, like let's say that high school player isn't going to contribute until their third year in the program. Paying them for 2 years to develop and then getting them and paying them for the third year is almost always still going to be cheaper, especially at high leverage positions. Like you can go out and get wide receivers, right? Like there's a billion wide receivers out there. Like that's not a market that I worry about a ton, even though I do like the fact that they're still doing their due diligence with high school recruiting at receivers. But when you're going out and you're trying to get linemen, even quarterbacks, right? There's a lot of them, but they're expensive in the portal. Like that's not a cheap get in the portal, even though there's, I think, a lot of capable college quarterbacks. Being able to invest that on the front end and then know what you have, know that they're a right culture fit. Because that's the other thing about these transfers is you may not be guessing on the football part of things as much, but you're guessing on the person side of things way more. Because unless you recruited them in high school.
You're talking about out of the portal.
Yes. You're guessing basically off of 3 or 4 interactions in person, maybe probably 1 interaction in person, and then a bunch of phone calls and text messages.
That's fascinating because I don't know. And this was year 1 for Coach Rogers at Iowa State, but he had 80 some new guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how much directly or kind of even indirectly through back channels did you influence the guys on the roster in terms of familiarity? He said every single one.
Yeah, I believe it.
That's a lot of work.
It is. It is.
That's a ton of work.
That's why college coaches aren't trying to coach college anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like basketball's less work because you're dealing with 15 guys instead of 100, but it's still way more work than it used to be.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
There's a reason Dusty May's like, yeah, I'll go to Dallas.
I think they get, Yeah.
You think Michigan couldn't have paid him whatever he wanted?
Oh, apparently he's just a basketball nerd, though.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like the guys that are just like about ball, college is not the place for you anymore.
Yeah.
The guys that are about developing people, college is where you want to be.
Oh boy.
What do we got?
Nothing. It just was interesting. And I know he drives you crazy because he comes up in every coaching cycle. But
who?
But Brad Stevens said,
oh, he's a good. I mean, no, I get it. I just don't think he's going anywhere. Like, I get it.
But Brad Stevens said, the greatest joy that he had making the transition was he just got to coach ball.
Yeah. I 100%
and then
believe
come back the next day and do ball, and then come back the next day and do ball.
And he's not worrying about grades or eligibility or somebody's parents or anything like that. You're just or recruiting or transfer. Like, you're just coaching ball. Like, I totally understand why guys do it.
Hey,
and also, for what it's worth, just real quick, if I was the San Antonio Spurs, I'd be like, Brad, here's $25 million a year. What do you think?
Man.
What do you think? Like, just make him say no. Just make him say no.
He had one bad series.
Yeah, but it was a reflection.
He held his own against OKC.
That was a reflection of, I think, the entire season. They've been they've been they were offensively gross kind of all year.
Yeah.
Like, that's not.
Which, speaking of which, like, I can't believe we need Jacob's today, right?
Yeah, he's today.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have some speaks
about Burries and Wagler.
He knows better than to just do the linear stuff. We were comparing Wagler to Burries, and he was talking about Wagler being a better passer.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's interesting. I'm just going to go and factor in the fact that Illinois actually ran a big boy offense with big boy actions.
I would agree.
Significantly better spacing.
I would agree.
Arizona's offense without a shooter was horrible.
It was like, Bradley, you going to do it, or Burries, you going to do it?
It is horrible.
Like, that was the offense, right? Was
right. So I didn't understand the lack of seeing the big picture, but that's one of those I feel very, very confident in saying that I think Burries would be a better pro.
And you've been on that for a while. I think
than Wagler.
So I actually don't have a strong feeling about between those two, because I like both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I like Wagler significantly more than you, but I'm not sitting here like, I'm not going to die on the hill that Wagler's a better pro, because I really like Burries too. And I see the flaws in both of them, right? The Burries argument is he's really good at a bunch of stuff. He's not great at anything. So you sit there and be like, how does that translate to the NBA? I understand that argument.
Can be an elite level defender too.
Sure, yeah. But you got Wagler, who you're like, okay, I like the one skill set a ton in his shooting. I like his size. And then there's a bunch that I need to figure out. So I can see how that ends up being a real thing, or I can see how it ends up not working out. Like, I totally understand the positives and pitfalls of both guys. I like them both. I actually think they're both going to work out. I have no opinion whatsoever on who I think is going to be better, because I understand what could go wrong with both guys.
Yeah. Big red gun. Yeah. I think I said in the draft, was I talking to DeMarinis?
Probably. I think so. I went back and read most of the messages.
Sturts could be a sneaky rookie of the year. He won't be, but I like Sturts.
On OKC, he won't be because he won't get enough minutes.
I know,
but in the right spot, he could have been.
Like, Sturts is sensational.
Yeah. I mean, that's a dude that could just play ball.
Yep.
And at 16, like, that's the perfect spot to take him.
Yeah.
And frankly, Oklahoma is the perfect spot for him, because
I actually like their draft.
You want a guy that can play right away.
No.
You want a guy that contributes so that you don't have to sign some of these other guys that are getting more expensive. Like, great pickup for OKC. And they had to trade to get him too.
It was such a funny draft because everybody, like, the first, I think I said this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, can't remember who I said was the next pick, but if that next pick went next, then the top 13 would have been everybody's top 13 in whatever order.
Yes.
Like, there were zero surprises.
Yes, because 13 was
when did I say? Yeah, I said if Ament goes next, this will be the most predictable draft that I've seen in.
So I think the top 10 for sure. Although I don't know that everybody had Merez Johnson at 9.
I saw him so listen to what I said. If Ament went 13, that was everybody's top 13.
Oh, in some order. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I mostly saw Merez Johnson either 11, 12, or 13.
Yes. Correct.
But everybody's like there was nobody that slid in those top 13 picks that I didn't see.
Correct. Like nobody was talking about like Steinbach being in the top 13.
A-Train, I've been on this Utah thing. I'm telling you.
Well, because who looked at you funny?
Joel Lorenzi.
That's right.
I texted him yesterday. I said, hey, listen, we don't have to revisit this Utah thing when you looked dead at me in the camera and said, do you see the look on my face? Utah?
Yeah, the problem is, though, you got the busty of all busts there.
Relax.
Darren Peterson.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to be a bust. He's not going to be Kobe. I know that. 0% chance. 0% chance he's Kobe.
Hey, rank these guys for me.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Darren Peterson.
Okay.
Hurley. Dion.
Okay.
Bo Jackson.
Hurley's last. Hurley's definitely last. So I don't actually have any animosity towards Bo Jackson. I just don't understand he himself, I don't really have any animosity towards. So he'll be number 1, I think. This is going to surprise you here.
I'm sorry, what?
That's the only thing he's ever been number 1 in, Shane.
Just laying in the cut. Do you even listen? That was funny. He said, I'm sorry, what?
I hate it when Shane's funny on accident.
Stumbled into that one, huh, Shane? God, my eye is a mess.
Bo is the person I like the most out of that list, I think. My number 2, so this is going to surprise you. My number 2 is Dion. You know why?
Wow.
You want to, you're gonna make fun of me. You don't want to know why?
You like his shoes?
No. I found out over the weekend he's got a type 1 daughter.
Oh, God.
Listen, you got to stick with the type 1 parents. Those people are tough, man. It's hard. So we're riding with
all the slander for a few years, and you circled the wagons over type 1.
Always rally for my guys or gals in this situation. Listen, being a type 1 parent's hard, so I'm going to give him a little grace there. Still don't love how he goes about his business, but on this list, he's second.
Cornflicted, I am so sad.
And then DP's third.
Because I love Acuff Jr.
Yeah. That was the right pick for them, though. That was smart.
That is the place where all good basketball players go to die.
I need somebody. Can somebody?
That is Sacramento.
Can somebody rescue Sabonis for me?
Is about as dysfunctional a franchise in any sport that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It is incredible how they can't. I mean, where are the Maloof brothers when you need them?
I think
that was Stoyaka Swish.
I think they're laughing all the way to the
Bibby
bank.
And Weber.
Yeah, but what about Light the Beam? Remember that?
Where are the Maloofs? It's Gavin, and who was the other one?
Let me see. Joe?
Maybe. What are the Maloof brothers doing? I loved Acuff Jr.
You do. That was your guy.
I thought he started picking up so much steam so late, he wasn't going to be a sleeper.
Joe and Gavin.
Yep. Okay. What are they doing now?
They're still in the casino business, I believe.
I mean, why would you get out?
I mean,
because they sold the UEFA for
casino business.
They made a ton of scratch.
How much did they sell the Kings for?
Yeah. So Acuff was so good late, and he had the heck of a tournament, and everybody was fawning over him. He wasn't going to be. I'll tell you the guy that I don't get. What? How much?
Not enough. Jeez.
What?
So it's more than they bought it for, but they sold in 2013, which is earlier than I thought they did. So Vivek's been there for a hot minute. It's $347 million.
Huh.
Which, like, for now, that's nothing. For a sports franchise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these things are going for like almost 10
Billion.
at this point, right? So it's
weird.
347 million is like, I don't even think that was like, I think you were getting $1 billion valuations at the time. Because what did the Clippers went for like $2 billion around the same time, didn't they?
Yeah.
A couple years later.
Yeah. What time is JP?
He's at 9.
I should have brought DBK back today.
So the Clippers sold for $2 billion in 2014, and I get it's LA versus Sacramento, but you couldn't get like any closer to $2 billion.
You ever been to Sacktown?
Yes, I have actually.
That's right.
I have been to Sacktown. It's not great. It's not great.
Oh, poop. Yeah, I'm a
Alex.
What?
Context is important here.
What?
He says not enough. Ravi acting like it's $50. When it comes to sports franchises, it is $50.
You gotta watch it. A-Train's pretty certain.
Like, come on, man. We're talking about the Knicks just got valued at $10 billion. That was 13 years ago, and you're worth what is that? 1/100th of that?
Yeah,
or 1/30th of that? 1/30th?
It's 90 for the entire NBA.
90 billion?
Yeah, I just looked it up yesterday.
Yeah, like
for
that's
whatever reason I did.
For 350 million, like it's a tough go.
What are you doing paying attention to sports on an off day?
Yeah, things happen.
Did you get the apartment cleaned up?
No, it's still the same.
Really?
They still haven't done. They still haven't come back in to finish the ceiling.
Did you poop all over your apartment?
No, the ceiling blew
Oh,
up. Richard Head.
There he goes.
Dickhead.
Wow. Wow. What I do, Juan? Going, Juan.
Haas says lived in Sacramento for 3 months for a project. It was an experience.
Yeah. I met a dude. I've been to Sacramento, but I met a dude in when I was in Tulsa, OKC / and I was eating at that neighborhood jam restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
He was a contractor from Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
He was sensational. Younger dude. He let me look at his plate, kind of see what I would do differently. I think that's a big deal. I was standing in line with Zoe Sunday.
Hey, let me see your plate.
Hey. I'm just super authentic, so it's whatever. But
what we got over there?
I'm like, this is weird. Can I see what you're eating? That's how I broke the ice. But I didn't invade his space. It's
nice that you asked first. That's good.
And he was a total stranger. And I was a little concerned because he had the prison stance.
Like he was like guarding his food.
But it looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat at the bar and the lady was really, really nice. And I was like picking through this and that of the menu.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided to ask. But Sunday, I had Zoe with me. And Zoe's the equivalent to like walking with a cute dog.
Yeah.
Right.
She's like, takes the barriers down.
Right.
Yeah.
So at one point I contemplated, I was like, Zoe.
Can you ask if I can look at that guy's plate?
Zoe, can you ask that lady if that's pesto or avocado? And Zoe looked up at me and she goes, what? I go, never mind. I don't have the courage. And she goes, you're so weird. But I just wanted to know what was on the lady's plate. Don't you ever walk into a restaurant and say, like, just want to see
I
usually
smell it. Like I'll smell something.
Now that's even worse. Like,
no, I'm not going
about
up
like
to
the random gander.
I'm not like going
you, like,
up to a person's plate and smelling it.
Pretend to stare at plates, but you're not trying to be in people's space.
Haven't you ever had somebody like food gets brought to the table next to you and it just smells really good? And you're like, I wonder what they're having. Like, I kind of,
yeah.
Like, I'm not going over and being like,
yeah,
what's going on, bud?
That's a pet peeve. I used to really slap the kids on the top of their head when they would like do that with their plate.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
And I'd be like,
or like somebody, like a server walks by with a tray or something. You're like, oh, whoa, some smell good on there.
I always want to say, can I see that?
Yeah.
I think you should get to.
You want me to, hey, can I get a little sneak preview?
Don't you want to know what it looks like?
I do really appreciate the menus that have pictures next to their food. So you can at least get a sense of what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, it's like I've done that whole that I was about to say host stroll. I've done that walk around the.
Did you do that at the Ho tournament that Shane was at last week, or?
Let's not act like everybody just has to peruse through the restaurant to see what was on everybody else's plate. Damn it!
You just like took a lap.
Ask Ready RP. Ask Ryan. We were at a restaurant about 6 months ago, and I was like, I gotta see what that fish special looks like. Oh yeah, I'll walk casual.
Oh, is that the place that I like?
I think so. Yeah, okay. I do. Because you think the other place is grossly overrated.
Yeah.
The tourist one that everybody
yes,
talks about.
Yeah.
I think you like this place.
Yeah. So
although
I like the old location better.
It's okay. I don't enjoy eating in the dark.
Well, then you wouldn't like most steakhouses around.
It doesn't have to. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be super lit, as the kids would say.
Oh, it's super lit.
But man,
why we gotta be dancing in the dark? It's not Bruce Springsteen up in here.
But I don't order steaks out much anymore.
So we took my mom there for her birthday.
To the place I'm talking about? Yeah.
And so we made a little bit of a mistake.
Oh yeah, it is your place because it's also the place. Remember, you went with your brother.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Same place.
So my mom likes this place. So we take her there for her birthday. We've taken her there several times for her birthday, and so they were reading off specials and stuff like that. And we're like, oh, that kind of sounds good. So there was a special.
Was it bison?
No, it was a porterhouse.
Okay. Overrated.
And it was very similar to a menu item that was on there. And the quoted price of the special is what we thought we were getting when we were ordering the menu item. Because the price, and she said them like back to back.
Yeah.
And so it was a little confusing. I don't think she was being intentionally deceitful. It's just like she was talking about the porterhouse, and then she was talking about
who's the porterhouse eater.
So my mom and I were going to split the steak. We're going to split this porterhouse, and then the special included.
It's acceptable. It's your mom. Who got the fillet side?
She loves fillets, so she went with the fillet.
Okay.
And then the special was just the porterhouse. The menu item was the porterhouse plus some seafood. So Natasha took the seafood.
Of course.
And then it was like crab legs and lobster. So she was thrilled.
Jeez, man. It wasn't. Did that make them mad? Because sometimes in places.
No, they told us we could split it.
Okay.
Like they specifically said this one is for splitting.
Okay.
You can split the porterhouse. And so we're like, okay, 3 plates, this one. And we thought we were getting a great deal.
Corey, you gotta watch Corey. He's cool, but he's low key naughty.
We thought we were getting a great deal.
Not so much.
The one was like a certain price that she had quoted.
What was the difference?
Like triple.
What? What are you special? How'd you miss that?
I was just like, so the other one said
that doesn't even make sense.
So the other one said market price. And so I thought she was quoting us the market price for the day.
Oh.
When she was reading the special versus the menu item. Because she only said one number.
Oh, it's like you choked on the pit of a cherry.
And
he said like triple.
And I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, we messed up. I was like, we misunderstood what she was saying.
So that place has an amazing bison.
Oh, I've heard that. I haven't had their bison.
It is.
I know you're not a sides guy. Their sides are unreal.
So you sound like my barber.
Their sides are so
arguably his favorite place. And he's a foodie. Like, he's a total foodie. He's trying to get me to go to this place, Anthem downtown. And it looks a little.
I haven't been there.
Looks a little tree huggish-y for him. But anyway.
Well, we know you. You're an environmentalist.
It's a cool little setup. He showed me this picture of their crab rangoon. They look fire. But anyway, Like that's his thing too. And I was like, well, you guys always, if you lead with sides, I'm probably out. Like I'll entertain it.
I'm not going to lead with them, but I'm definitely, and usually at that place, I take them home because they reheat really well.
They're don't let me.
And they have
act like I
fantastic to-go boxes.
Listen, I have used those potatoes on a bed of scrambled and sunny side up eggs.
Man, the scallop, the au gratin potatoes are so good. The lobster mac is incredible.
So it's funny because
their sides.
With when I went with Ryan, like I wanted to see the special because I wanted fish. Because their scallops are amazing. So I got those as the appetizer. So I wanted to stay with the fish thing.
I love their scallops.
And he was buying, so I didn't want to like spend a ton.
Sure.
But the special, I love seafood.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, generally I will choose seafood over almost anything. My mom wanted to do the porterhouse thing, so I was like, well, I'm cool. Like
that's cute.
I don't know.
I feel like we should have revisited the conversation in the parking lot yesterday. Austin, Ravi gave me the 411 on why he loves his mom so much. It was very cute. I've never seen that side of Ravi.
Is it because she brought him into this world?
More than she kept me in it.
Yeah. I was gonna say in essence, yes.
So it was, and this is it funny. This comes back to the Dion thing of being a type 1 parent. Like I know all the like stuff she did to like make sure I didn't die when I was a kid. Like, and there was a chunk of my childhood where she was like, you're too young to really do it yourself and understand, do it well. And so like, she's basically managing my diabetes for me my first couple years as a diabetic. And like, she's waking up at 3 a.m. to check me in the middle of the night to make sure, because there's CGMs don't exist yet. And she's like making sure I've always got low snacks and things to treat. And like the things that I have anxiety over now about like forgetting insulin or whatever, like she was doing all of that on top of like, like working a full-time job and having 3 other kids. And so like there's, when like you're in that situation, you just get really close.
What's a CGM?
Continuous glucose monitor. It tells you your blood sugar all the time instead of having to poke your finger all the time.
I can't believe you got cracked with triple the price though. That's the funniest thing you said in a long time.
Dude, it was Natasha and I just looked at each other and I was like, we misunderstood what she was saying.
And you were the guy that was contemplating paying $40 at lunch.
I was never contemplating that. I brought it up because I was like, who would do this? Somehow that got twisted and like, Ravi was thinking about it. And I told you that place was going to close because of it. It closed like 3 months later.
Oh, they did. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way this is going to last. I was the only person in here and they're charging $40 for fish and chips.
If they say market price, they're not giving you enough. That was your first clue.
No, usually if it's market price, then you're asking about it, then they tell you what the market price is. Like they do that same place does like a Wagyu special, like an A5. And then they're like, okay, tell me about this. And then they tell you what it is that
If
day.
it was more than like 4 ounces, I would have contemplated it. But
the Wagyu?
Yeah.
I know. I really want to try it there. I haven't yet.
I could inhale that and be, but it's so rich. I'll take my chances that I could eat more.
Dude, please. You got to go next time RP's playing and be like, deuce. I will take 2 of these. Let's take a quick break. We got Brian CHRISTOPHERSON coming up next on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Make this the summer event at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. Lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S starting at $289 a month. Built for the road and ready for summer. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at $399 a month or finance at 2.9% APR for 72 months. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point.
I mean, it's been a blast. It's definitely a different sport. I will say beach volleyball is a challenge in and of itself, but it's been so much fun. I think I'm just really excited to be growing the sport and just being a part of that. And I think coming back to Nebraska and being able to coach on the beach and just being able to bring that here and just being able to coach these girls, some of them I've seen in indoor, so it's been really fun to see that transition.
What is that toughest part of going between the two?
I would say it's just a lot of different skills. It's a lot of ball control, and you're touching every ball. So it's a lot of sprints, every time you serve, you got to sprint to the net. And I mean, it's just a whole different challenge. But and you got the outdoor weather, you got wind, sun, sand. It's just different.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Brian CHRISTOPHERSON, Husker 24/7. What's up, BC? How we doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
B sizzle. I was telling the guys, was this Monday? Yeah, it had to be Monday. It was my first day back. I found a new level of appreciation for you and Brunts on kind of the collab. There was so much happening.
Yeah.
At Battle of the Boneyard. And I was eavesdropping, and you guys were like, okay, is this good? He's got an offer. He's got an offer. That's a new offer out there. Do we want to do that in order? And just that you guys were going through this like 4 or 5 minutes, and I was like, number one, how in the world are they keeping up? Like real time, because you guys were cranking out the content for the write-up. And then number two, just the sharing, like the divvying up of the responsibilities. I was like, is it always like this? Or do you guys just know what you're getting into with events like that? Because you don't know that their offers are going to be like, you don't really know. You're like just reactionary, right?
Yes. Bruns is a great teammate. He's I don't think we've ever had a fight. Maybe that's a bad thing as I think about it. We need a little more friction going on. But yeah, there were offers coming fast and furious. I was sort of the offer guy. He was sort of for that day the observation guy. By the way, the local lads, your guys showed out well. That was a tough game. 2-point conversion at the end.
I was pleasantly surprised. Right. But I knew they had done well nationally, and they got a few of the national guys from Domo. I wish they'd have realized they were good enough early
Was that, hey, Damon, was that because I was kind of in Offerland and also pre-writing a uniform story? Was that the quarterfinals or what was that game?
That was the quarters.
Okay, it was quarters. It was a 32-31 game for the listener, and Domo lost. You guys went for 2. Just went off a guy's fingertips. Was it Midwest Boom, I think, the other side?
Yeah. And I was how good was their quarterback?
Yeah, he was wearing the sunglasses and
well, I was telling you guys that was his 5th wardrobe change. He wore something different for every game. It was incredible.
Yeah, gotta have some style there as a Miami commit. He was good. He flashed the big arm a few times. But yeah, that was one of my biggest takeaways, and I'm not buttering you up. That was that our local fellas came to play. They didn't back down. A lot of good guys that frankly we don't probably write enough about. And I want to write more about this season. And I mentioned it to you in passing. I didn't talk to you a long time, but I'm excited about the season locally. I'm excited about a little bit of the rivalry and sort of the fire that's brewing on different sides. And so for an impartial observer, I think this fall is going to be kind of fun around the state.
Yeah, it is. And it's
what fires you mean, BC?
Well, so and here's the thing. We've got out-of-town matchups with some of these really good teams. Everybody knows the hate relationship with Westside Prep. That's who we open with. Prep's going to be really good, especially up front. I was talking to a buddy that has them on the schedule. And he follows it, so he kind of does his homework. In BC, he was like,
"That's group's been together for a minute too."
Yeah, that's just it's the same.
Yeah,
page. Yeah.
Against that opening against Bellevue West a few years ago.
I've talked about these guys.
Yeah,
and he's like, "We're not built like that. How are we supposed to win? I mean, why would they put a game like that on our schedule the way that they're built up front?" I looked at it and I was like, blank. Like, there's a lot. Like who? There's a lot of good teams, right? Would you have taken them off and put, Pap South on? Would you have done Millard North? Like, there's our quarterback, BC, he's a pup from Lincoln Northwest. Like, he's just getting started. You think that kid, if he keeps developing, isn't going to be good?
Yeah.
Like, everything's it just seems like everything's on the uptick, and these guys are young.
Camden Berry, he's a 20-30 guy. Is that right?
Yeah, he's a freshman.
Jeez.
There's 20 or 30.
He's a freshman.
Yeah. There's some dudes brewing. Not just the guys, a cycle away. It's going to be fun the next few years around here. So, and I like when there's a little chippiness to my 7-on-7 games. So I'm Team Mike on that.
There'll be plenty of that. I was pleasantly surprised with how, because I think the big man camp was kind of the precursor because they don't really know what you're getting. Right. It's and guys are showing up and they're going through the numbers. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, there's a lot of recruitable guys. You're looking at the measurables and then all of a sudden 3 or 4 offers go out and it kind of juiced the coaches up. And then the OV guys come in that morning. Then you see all the talent at Battle of the Boneyard. It's like that staff was everywhere.
Yeah.
To evaluate real time.
It was about a 12-hour day, probably longer for them. But when the camp started, and you're right, the big man camp set a great tone because there was like 3 or 4 offers that came out of it. When I was looking down the list, you saw guys, it wasn't just from one area either. Like Michigan had a ton of guys that could play that were in town from up there. I like that the Midwest Boom team had some dudes and the Fast Houston team, I thought brought some guys too. And so it was a very good mix of the bigs and the fleet-footed guys where it all worked together for a good offer list. I think they offered about 20 people almost by the end of it. And as you look through it, it's like, yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. So and it wasn't the ideal setup for how the day went, obviously, because of the weather. They got messed with the inclement conditions and had to go inside for everything. And the thing I really appreciated, and this is what'll keep people coming back, Damon, is everything was pretty much on time, despite all the things that happened and all that, it just kept going.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That's not easy to pull off there. While the semifinals were getting ready, or the finals, they brought in a stage, for the championship team to be on that won the tournament. And then they introduced the uniforms up there, put it in the Hawks Championship Center. And so there was just great coordination, and you could appreciate, not even knowing everything that was going on, all the details, that the organization was on point. And that's what gives you a fighting shot as a program. You've got to have that. And that's one thing I would always say to anybody who's like, I don't know about Rule, what's going on over there? Are they going to get it going to the level I want it to? I would always point to the one thing I would say they've been the best at of about any staff since I've covered it is the organization standpoint. And you just feel like people know what this person's doing, that person's doing. And it's not just an aimless walk, because Saturday was the type of day that could have blown up on you if you did not have that in place.
Listen, they're like hosting girls flag football recruits and new offers and piggybacking off the event for the Sauer sisters. It was like they don't skip a beat in terms of attention to detail, just picking up on the momentum. And I say that just because it's fascinating, and people, cynics, will say, oh man, the uniform reveal, like, big deal, or I don't like the uniforms, or it's just 7-on-7 or playing catch, and we should be worrying about play football. And Jacory Barney was right to your left, right? Yeah. And we were talking out on the field probably 10, 15 minutes. And I'd seen him early in the morning because they brought guys in for workouts. Because, Caleb didn't leave until like 12. And JB was still there, and he said, oh, I just showered, I changed. I said, you've been here all day. He said, man, I'm ready to go home. And it struck me as odd because he was clearly tired. It was 7:15. And he said, but I'm hosting a recruit. He's over at Capitol eating. Then I have to do the uniform deal. And I said, yeah. He's like, man, he goes, I can't wait he was just talking about getting back to the recovery in the morning and then trying to get a down day so he could ramp up, because he said they ramped the offseason schedule up, right? He didn't want to hear guys complaining because they intensified the offseason schedule. And BC, like, that's the part that I want, that not enough people know. You know what I mean? You're talking about stuff behind the scenes and what's going on in the organization. It's not at the sacrifice of getting better at football. Like, yeah, it's all part of it, right? The evaluations, the being able to work under duress, to get up and function and do your job on a short night, to be thrown a curveball and watch you function with the weather and how you respond. Like, it all matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I wish people could see all the.
But then they see him dancing and they're like, oh, he's dancing around. I was like, you know how bad this dude an hour ago is just like, I got one more. I got to give it one more good hour, man, and I get to go home. You know what I mean? Like, he gave you everything he had.
Jacory Barney's a special dude, because if you watched him after the uniform unveiling, like, nobody is more popular than him right now as far as a player goes, and he's just there for it. He's always there for fans. He's always there for the recruits, as you mentioned, like hosting a guy, and he's like that player that other guys, especially the Florida guys who are in town, want to see. They've heard about him, they know his story, they know where he's from, and everything that happened to him coming up. And he just keeps ticking. And you're right, like, the uniform thing and all that, everything else, it's not like you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I mean, these guys are locked in on their June and July football preparation, just as they ever were. With the uniform thing, there was only like a handful of guys who actually saw them. I think it was Friday, and those were the guys I took it that were like modeling the uniforms. Everybody else, because I asked Cam Leonard, I was like, what's the team think of them? He said, well, I don't know if they saw him until just now, like all the other guys, so like if that's a narrative, let's scrap that one, because nobody like in the locker room was like locked in on that thing. It was just a something they presented. They presented it well, and people can have their opinions on if they like the look or not. That's fine, but that's not a distraction at all, or by any means a top focus of this team, the wardrobe part. But I thought they handled that setup well. And you want another guy who's I think like Jacory in that vein of being special and always around is Nyziah Hunter. Like he's a guy who's always at every camp. And, I think Rule had this story, like there was a camp. It wasn't a skilled guys camp. It was like a big man camp, not this one Saturday, but earlier in June. And Nyziah Hunter's out there at, 7 a.m. before it's starting. And Rule's like, why are you here? He's like, I like football, and I think Andrew Marshall's like that. So if you get enough of those guys, we've talked about this a lot, but you got to build a roster that's the heavy piece of the pie. They're made up of like, there's a football game going on. It's 7-on-7. It's what I still want to be over kind of around it. That's what I liked as much as anything Saturday. You had those guys watching it. You had like TJ Lateef was over there watching all of it. Emmett Johnson doesn't have to be there, and he pops in and is watching the 7-on-7, and he's a Kansas City Chief now. You don't think that like shows something that people see him like, okay, he's still involved with this program. All that stuff matters.
To your point on Hunter, I'm so glad you brought him up, because he's the guy that I gravitate towards, because the players don't really like practicing against him. He's kind of mean-spirited. He's super tough. He talks a lot of trash. Like, he's kind of that guy. And Dawson Merritt, who looked fantastic, by the way, was playing basketball by himself. He was just and Zoe likes to shoot hoops, and so we were killing time in between. And so she's like, so can we go play basketball? And so we kind of walked over there, and because there's nobody really in indoors, right? All the action is every place else. So I thought I could just hide her out. And Dawson Merritt is like working on like change of direction drills, because he's finally healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He looks good, and he just was working on changing directions, and he likes basketball. And Nyziah Hunter comes out of the facility, and I'm like, Hunt, what are you doing, man? Are you peeking around corners? And he's like, man, putting in that work, yo. Putting in that work. I'm here all day. I might as well get it in. And I just was thinking to myself, just the way that he said it, it put words. He put his own words to how I watch him carry himself. Like he's relentless. It's why he's good after the catch. It's why he's physical. It's why he likes to block. It's just his delivery. He just was like, putting in that work, yo. I'm here. It just
right.
It validated kind of what I watch when I watch him practice too.
I'd be surprised if those receivers don't make a leap this year.
So here's the thing. I'm glad BC's on a roll. BC, I think they're going to it's going to be survival of the fittest in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Coach Shorts this week? He's constantly on the grind. I think I just think they demand it. You know what I mean? And they hear what's out there. Oh, you're recruiting X amount of receivers and you're throwing it all over. Like, man, I don't know. That's a pretty tough group.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, everybody knows the top three. I think Quinn has just steadily had a good offseason too, Quinn Clark. And
amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I feel good about that 4. And then, then you see like Cortez Mills walking around and you're like, oh, that's how it's supposed to look. So if there's players like him that if you can get a couple like Cortez, And I don't know who's necessarily going to be the sixth guy. Of course, Jacory and Boneyard coming back is a big deal, like how you can just use him as a hybrid. Pretty interesting crew they've got. So, yeah, I like the whole the way everybody was sort of involved with it, not just the coaches, not just recruiting staff, but players. They take care in events like that, and it coming off the right way and being present. And that says something. And so, that's good. I think the 5-5 thing that's going to go through is good, for Nebraska. And so there's some things that are positive momentum, I think, this week.
BC, as you're talking about these guys that, are grinding and love football and kind of have this certain mindset, like, have you gotten the sense that I think there was a time when we probably would not have described a majority of the roster that way, whether it was under previous regimes or early on under Coach Rule? Like, do you feel like we've gotten to the point where it's mostly football guys in the building?
That's the thing.
I think they've definitely increased there. It'd be hard to put an exact number on it, and I don't want to just, disparage, like this team 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, and say, oh, this many guys weren't built like that, because they definitely had rosters where there were certain dudes like that. But I do think it's just something you kind of pick up on, sort of in the scene setting that Damon lays out. You kind of consistently see that with guys when you are over there for anything, where someone will pop up and you're like, oh, okay, he's going to work, and you add him to the list of guys that just seem like they're all about it. Like Shamir Khan, I think, is a guy who, like, when he was brought in a cycle ago, nobody thought a thing of it when he came in from the portal, but Jamar Mosey knew his makeup, and he's going to have a big say on this season too. And he's another guy, by the way, who would have another year, I believe, if I did my math right, on the 5-5. So Andrew Marshall is built that way. And so you got a lot of guys who are going to be frontline type players that have that MO, and that's the key. It's good. It filters down. You have those veterans to do it. And then, of course, you've got like a lot of third year guys now who have sort of seen it. They've went through some ups and downs, probably a lot of stuff we don't even see behind the scenes that they have to deal with. And they're still here and ready to roll. And so I do think there's an energy for this thing to get rolling. I know fall camp starts August 5th, and Dr. Elzo was talking about that like last week on the radio, that they've kind of got their plan set up, for the most part, of how that practice schedule is going to look, with maybe just a few tweaks here and there. So I do think there's some juice right now over there, that they feel like they've had a good offseason. You just got to keep it rolling into this runway into August.
BC, what do you think Nebraska can do with this event as it continues to grow? I think they're going to you have to do some sort of you don't have to, but I mean, it's clearly another revenue stream. They pre-sold almost 8,000 tickets for the event. That's income, right? Like, what do you think? Could this be like their version of the Open? I know it's that other shoe, that shoe company, but like, what do you see with what they're able to do as they continue to just get bodies on campus?
I mean, I think it's just one of those deals where year after year, you just hope it grows a little bit more. And ideally, like next year, you get a little bit better weather with it. So you're able to, play those like semis and final games in front of, I know they wished, and I think they might have had their wish. There would have been like 8,000 or 10,000 people like in Memorial Stadium at 7 p.m. to watch those games. It didn't happen that way, but like I said earlier, it matters to the teams and the players involved that, they understand that, weather happens and things pop up, and the thing just kept going on. And so you're going to have those coaches who run those teams who are going to be like, I'll come back to that. And then, so if you already they had 15 teams there, and if almost all of them said that was a good experience, I'm going to do that again. I think it's a deal where, maybe next year it's 18 to 20 teams, and it just keeps building on itself until it's just recognized as like, this is one of the best 7-on-7 tournaments because it's organized. The facilities are second to none, obviously. And then just the benefits for Nebraska football are obvious. I mean, you get guys in there who would not be in Lincoln at this time of year just on their own. And it gives them a different it repaints the picture of what Nebraska and what Lincoln is like to almost all of them. And I know everybody is tired of the cliche they read in all these recruit stories about, I thought it'd be cornfields, but that's legitimately what like 8 out of 10 guys will say to you. The first thing, you don't have to even lead them to that. They will say, I thought it was going to be cornfields. I was shocked like that. And so that's a big starting point, like a cycle or two ahead on guys that's sort of been knocked out of their head about what Lincoln looks like or what the campus is like. And then you go from there, and the guys who left there this weekend are going to, for the most part, a heavy percentage are going to be like, okay, Nebraska's got to be one of those I at least think about visiting for a game day, or I get back to again, because they got something there where you can tell it's a football place, and that matters.
BC, it's been a while now since this was sort of the MO in terms of getting recruits here on game days, but with the kind of change in the schedule, how important has it been, do you think, that Nebraska's coaching staff has been able to show these potential recruits or actual recruits what the city and the state have to offer without it being a game day in Lincoln?
Yeah, I think there's an advantage to it, actually. That's a great question, Ravi, because for the longer part of that I've covered it, it was all about game day. It was like, you got to get them here to see that. And
that was like Bo's thing, right? Like, if we can't get them on a game day, we don't have a shot.
Yep, and it makes sense. I mean, everybody gets that, because it's it's one of the top 5, top 10 places on a Saturday to be in the fall. It's awesome, but you got to set the stage first and let them see it when there's a quietness on the campus, and it's like, oh, this is a nice place. I could go to school here. I could hang out in this facility on a Tuesday afternoon, in March, sort of thing. And that's, I think, what they gather more in this time of year. And then especially the visits, I think, that are the most impactful are when you get them here, Ravi, in like the spring for like a practice, and you can there's maybe like just 2 recruits there on a Thursday, and they get to see, this is how this coach operates during a practice. They feel kind of special because they're behind the curtain, seeing what others aren't seeing and want to see. They get to go in the meeting room with all of them. And obviously now the way our recruiting calendar is, all the commits happen in June. So if you did not put in the legwork, in March and April, you're and have those people here, you're screwed. You're just in trouble. And so look at like Corey Brown and Roy Manning. They were able to close on that first weekend in June.
Yeah,
like with the 2D lineman and then the edge guy, who we thought was maybe going to Minnesota for like an hour, but now he's committed to Nebraska. And think about if they had not like set that up in the months ahead, where they had a chance to get them to raise their hand in early June, what the conversation about this class would have been the next 2 to what it could be right now, if they were not in position because of what they did to give themselves the opportunity to finish there. And so I'm sure there's like some anxiousness if you're a coach, like you put on all this work in the spring, and you still got to get them to like commit and finish it. And you think you're going to get there, but you don't know for sure. So I'm sure you get there's some nerves involved, but Nebraska reaped the benefits those first 2 weeks in June because of the stuff that happened in April and March, but even before that.
So I asked probably, and I didn't know that 2027 was going to kind of ramp up and kind of catch fire like this. I thought it was a possibility, but I've always asked, can we separate the 26 season from 27? And last couple of weeks, I've heard and read a lot about how this season hinges and the connection and what could mean. And is this, or even sometimes to the negative of, well, I mean, with this 27 recruiting class, is that by rule more? And I'm like, no, across the board. Not only do they look at it as not as a buoy or a life preserver, I think they understand full well the importance of needing to play well and look functional and show growth on the football season in 2026, independent of anything that's going on in recruiting. Do you get that feel from these guys?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the it's always like that everywhere, though. I mean, it's you always are like, whatever you put on the field in the fall, of course, is going to matter in like the heads of like who's committed and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that this team is that they've done a good job of separating the current guys on the roster, being locked into what they need to handle in these months to give themselves a good chance when you get to August 5th and fall camp and building to September 5th. And then there's the compartment of recruiting that's over here, and they have a lot of people. Keith Williams and that crew does a really nice job, and they're organized, and it can play off each other without a lot of interference there. I think they've done a good job on that front. So yeah, we'll see what they do this fall. But I mean, everywhere that's the way it is. Like you have a class that's sort of set now. And there's going to be some schools across the country who lay an egg this fall, and there'll be a few commits who just say, I'm going to look around elsewhere. I mean, that's always going to be the nature of the beast.
I think it might have been an accident, and he was on the third floor looking down because we were down there playing basketball. But I think BC, I saw Keith Williams crack a smile at me. I think he didn't say any words, but I think he smiled.
Yeah,
it needs something.
Keith he's really good at what he does. He's just a workhorse from everything I've heard. I don't know if I've seen him smile, but I remember I was just starting on the full-time beat during the Pelini era when Keith was of course he was connected to the Callahan era a little bit too at the end of it, but Keith was a really good player, and he was on some of my favorite Husker teams that I've covered since I've been doing this. I need Nebraska football to take that next step and have some teams that actually rival a couple of the teams that Keith was on, because I still think about the squads that he played with, and those were like entertaining years, never a dull moment.
BC, last one for me here. Somebody in the chat asked an interesting question. I'm going to reframe it a little bit. But if there was one area on the field, and we'll call it a statistical area, right? So if you have questions on what I mean by that, let me know. But like if there's one statistical area on offense, defense, or special teams that you could say, hey, this is going to get 50% better this year. Like, do you have one in mind where you're like, man, if we can get, 50% better on red zone defense, or 50 might be the wrong number, but 50% better on turnover mark. Like, is there one that you're like immediately, that's the one that I think leads to the most wins?
Okay.
Yep. I mean, red zone's my answer.
Red zone offense, right?
Both. But defense in particular, because I mean, go look at, I always use CFBstats.com. That's where I go, and go to the red zone defense, and it's fourth link over, click on touchdown percentage. Nebraska was dead last, basically. I mean, it was bad. It was just like, if they got inside the 20-yard line, they were going in last year. And so that in itself, like if you could change that, I've written
especially
it before.
with how many times they got there.
Yes.
Well, he's talking defense, right? You're talking defense, right?
I am defense, but you can swing it to offense very quickly. Because,
yes, yeah.
I mean, they both need to pick it up, but defense was like dead last. And then offense, if you look at their touchdown percentage, it wasn't near what you'd need it to be. And so if you even got both of those, like in the top 50, obviously you want to shoot higher, but like, let's say both of them were like in the 40s, that changes some games. If you think of it, you can think of the specific examples, guys, like, Michigan and that first drive, like on offense, you think about, and, there was a game against USC when you're ahead. And I think in the second half, even after the Riley injury, like USC had like a third down, or if I remember right, like inside the 10-yard line, and they got in the end zone. It's like, those are the moments that are going to separate, whether you're a 5 or 6 win team or 8, 9, 10 win team. So I would start there. But I would quickly say too, I think they're going to upgrade a lot on causing turnovers with Orch's defense. I think there's a lot of room to grow there. And I think that, they have the potential, just because the bar is not that far off the ground, to cause more chaos plays. I want to see them force more fumbles. Like, I want to see that type of like defense where you're knocking the ball out and it's on the turf, So those are the things I think of first, as far as like, if that flipped, we're looking at a different story.
Because you're red zone offense, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get to the 20 so often without getting touchdowns. And sometimes they don't even get field goal attempts. They go for it quite a bit. They need about 2.8 to about 2.8 points more in the red zone.
To your point, Damon, so I'm looking at touchdown percentage in the red zone on offense. They were 95th. They scored touchdowns 30 times out of 53. So they're at they scored touchdowns 56.6% of the time, and that had them 95th. To be top 50, you would need to upgrade almost 8%. So I mean,
that's like 65%.
Yeah. If you get to like 65%, you're around top 40.
I mean, I just say that out loud. 95th.
Yeah, and that's the offense. I mean, if you go to the defense, it's
that's about 5 more touchdowns a year.
That's rough. The defense was rough last year in that stat.
It's about 2.8.
136 out of 136 teams scored touchdowns in the red zone on 30 of 38 trips. So flip that.
70% touchdown rate puts you at, I mean, you're going to be in every single football game.
Yep.
I don't care what your defense does.
I mean,
I do.
I care a little bit.
I'm just saying,
it'll keep you in games.
Yeah, it'll keep you in every game.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's our guy, Brian CHRISTOPHERSON, Husker 24/7. BC, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you later.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Thanks, B.
We will be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live with Kevin Sjuts coming up next.
It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Chevrolet. Lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT for just $349 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. 2 great Chevys, 1 big June event. Slide into a 2026 Chevy Equinox LT for just $399 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. Get to Edwards Chevrolet today. Together, let's drive.
grew up an Oklahoma Sooners fan. You dreamed of playing in this ballpark, and now you're a national championship for the program you always wanted to play for. How would you describe all the emotions?
Definitely overwhelming. A lot of joy and honestly a lot of pride in the university. Just what these coaches and the players have done for each other and the way we've just picked each other up all year. I mean, that was our first loss in a lot of games, and we came back and fought and battled today and came out on top.
It looked like you were in a little bit of disbelief after your last at-bat in Omaha was a home run, similar to your brother. What were you thinking in that moment?
Just pure joy, and I knew that it was a gift from God, and stayed disciplined to my approach, fought some pitches off, and then boom. So just definitely knew it was a gift from God, and so I'm going to have to give him all the glory, and I'm happy to do so.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Kevin Sjuts from 1011 News in Lincoln, live from a ball field. What's up, Sjuts? How we doing?
Greetings from Sandusky, Ohio, gentlemen.
What? Like, you're super bright, so I'm sure this was intentional. How many days did you bank for vacation just so you could be in your happy place?
Okay, so yes, thanks for calling this my happy place, because it is. And I'm so glad that you guys get to like lean into this right now. You know, awesome. Shane sends me the text message, and I think generally the answer should be, sorry, Shane, I'm not available because I'm on vacation. And I go, you know what? I'm here for sports, and you guys talk sports, so let's do this. I have no idea where this conversation is going to go. But to answer your question, Ravi, I think I'm working a total of 8 days in the month of June.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love it. I love that for you.
So,
well, thank you, because this is like the anti-fall, you know, at least for somebody that does television in Lincoln and does sports, because, you know, August, busy, September, October, November, it's all busy, like on the backside. So you build up all the time off, and then you got to use it at some point. And so here we are. I didn't know I was going to be taking this much time off in June, but usually I take my days when my kids have activities, and turns out there's a lot of things happening in June. So, you know,
awesome.
we've talked about New York, and now we're going to talk about Sandusky, Ohio, I suppose. We're on day 3 here at what is this called? Sports Force Parks Lakefront Ripken Tournament.
So it's two things. Number one, part of the Kevin Sjuts experience is, where are you going to broadcast from, and how are you going to present the info? Like that's different. We've seen you go live in OKC. We've seen you in the car. We've seen you fresh off a cake. We've seen you at the ball field. So that's always fun. But the other thing is, my buddy he sent me a message this morning, and this is the Kevin Sjuts influence. At 7-Eleven, he said, my wife just came home with one of these, and it's a huge snackle box. So, you know, you never know the impact you're going to have on people, Kevin. It's that good-natured stuff.
You know, I'm just trying to get you guys some sort of partnership with Snacklebox. That's all I'm really doing here.
So I do have a question. Because he played with a regional team this week, and he played really well. And I know he's at Northwest. He's just a young guy. What are the thoughts early on about Sammy Jurgens?
Oh, baby, good question. Good ball player for sure.
Yeah.
Man, What's the update on Sammy Jurgens? Because I mean, he's one of the better players in the area.
So he played with some local guys that collabed with a team out of Georgia, Domo, for 7-on-7. And he was Micah's quarterback this weekend. And I felt like for what it was and kind of his inexperience, he was exceptional at the quarterback spot for those guys. And is he held in that high regard? Well, clearly with what you just said, you may know about him. Do enough people know about Sammy Jurgens?
No, he's going to play Class A football this year. Because that's the thing about like the whole Northwest and Standing Bear thing. Like, there are good athletes at both of those schools. They're on the come. It's just the schools are still so new. People maybe don't have the built-in reputation that some of the other schools across the 10-11 area, Lincoln and the surrounding communities that they have. And so, like, maybe unfair to Sammy Jurgens and unfair to, like, Hayden Holdren, who was
another
Standing
good one.
Bear. Fantastic quarterback. And he's going to go play college football, and he deserves to. It's almost like just flew under the radar for some reason. I would say maybe the reason is because that the schools are just so new. When you think of in the instance of Hayden also, that like they didn't have varsity football, his first year in high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like you put a guy like the talent level of Sammy Jurgens or Hayden Holdren in the Omaha Metro, and I think the profile looks totally, totally different. But I think that's an encouraging sign too, that Sammy can do what he's doing right now, still as these schools are continuing their rise. And I think it's only going to help them with those schools going up to Class A. The enrollment is what it is, and they're not going to be – they're going to be outmatched in some games. But I still think Class B is so ultra competitive, it might actually benefit them because they're going to rid of some, moderately challenging games in Class B, and they might gain – some bottom half Class A opponents, which would potentially lead to more wins. And also, even if it's a game where they're outmatched in Class A, guess what? There's going to be more eyeballs on them, and that can really benefit a player like Sammy Jurgens.
Kevin, I got to ask a question. With the it sounds like there's a lot going on in the background there with some exciting baseball. Do you chirp at all? Are you a chirper at the umpires? You get a little you give them a little feedback?
I don't.
Nah, no, not really. If anything,
you're 3 for 3 with me. I don't know what you do at the younger level. I haven't seen you say a word when I've seen you.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story in a second, and I'll answer the question first, though, and then I'll go to the story. No, I don't think I really chirp much at all. Maybe some viewers or listeners that have seen me would maybe disagree. I apologize for that. We all have regrettable decisions and behaviors, but I think for the most part, I'm so hyper-focused on like my kid and my kid's team, and like he's also playing with such an amazing group of boys that it's like a hey, come on, Jack, you got it, or like I'm a not your pitch guy. So that's basically like if the umpire calls strike on a pitch that's maybe down in the zone, like I'm not going to yell at the umpire. I'm just going to say, hey, that's not you. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess I'm kind of like in that like baseball code to maybe relay my opinion. I think I've learned over the years, just shut up. You're not doing yourself any favors by saying anything. Okay, so here's the story. This would have been 2 years ago. We were in South Dakota, and the tournament was not the most well-run tournament. And it also had some different rules and, guidelines for the way you manage your pitching and all that stuff. Maybe we weren't totally prepared for what the experience was going to be. So it was just a bad experience to begin with. And then we get on the field, we're playing a pretty good opponent. And I felt like the zone was either all over the place or we were just getting squeezed. And I opened my mouth when I shouldn't have. Basically, there was a pitch that I was frustrated with the strike zone. And for our boys, it wasn't even my son. And the ball is like straight out of the pitcher's hand. It's not even a third of the way to the plate. And I yell, strike, really loud. And it's just one of those like totally broke all baseball etiquette. And it was out of my mouth. And catcher catches it, and that's no one's talking at that point. So there's one dummy that opened his mouth and it was really loud. It was me. Regrettable moment. My wife even looked at me and goes, or no, it was one of our other parents that said, "What just came over you?" And then a dad goes, "Satan."
So
I was scolded. I will say I was scolded by our coach, deservedly so. Even from the dugout, he looked, he yelled. I'll own that, but I learned.
This is fascinating. All right, so I'm always taking parenting notes. You have to share yourself. You had the super strategic schedule that you had to use for state baseball. You left early. You had to get out of there. You had state track. You've got youth baseball. How far in advance, or what's the understanding to divvy up your time when you can't be at everybody's everything? Like, how do you guys navigate that?
That's $1 million question,
Well,
GB.
I see what I'm doing.
You taking notes over here.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, I'm going to kick this one back to you, and please give me advice. I don't know that we know how to do it right. It's really okay. So, when you have older kids that can drive, that really changes the game. Because for my 12-year-old, well, he's now 13, just had a birthday. But he can't drive himself, and there are willing people to take him, but we try to make sure that we're there. But the thing is, with his games, you're showing up an hour early, for warm-ups and all that stuff. So that adds time. With the older two, you're able to just show up basically at first pitch, or in my daughter's instance, whenever she's got to be on the volleyball court. By the way, you talk about how do you divide and conquer and make this all happen. My wife was just at AAU Volleyball Nationals in Orlando, flew from Orlando to Cleveland. I picked her up at the airport at 1 a.m. to get her to Sandusky so we could be watching baseball. So how do we choose? How do we survive? Our calendar, digital calendar on our phones, it's ridiculous. It's not color coded, but it just lists everything. And so we kind of week by week just say, one, how does everybody get everywhere? And, Paxton, our older son, who's going to be a senior this year in high school, bless his heart, he always tells us, you don't have to come. He's totally fine if we're not there. But that doesn't mean we want that to happen. We want to make sure we're there supporting him. But yeah, so he gives us a ton of grace and understanding. Love him to death. And I think Bella's at the point too, we're going to see what this looks like, because now we have a college student athlete. And I don't think that Bella's going to expect us to be traveling to, Minnesota and Wisconsin, and they start their season in New York. And sorry, sweetheart, we're not going to be able to go to New York for a second time this calendar year to watch you play volleyball.
Yeah, the good thing about the collegiate experience is there's more accessible ways to watch it when you're not.
Yes,
when you're not there too. We have a couple of mutual acquaintances, two that know you really well, and they both say that your wife's the real MVP. They don't know why I have such an affinity for you.
I don't think that there's no MVP attached to any of this. I think any parent does this, right? You just try to go support your kids and get them to where they need to be and give them the opportunities and, just have a little fun along the way. I mean, this is my vacation, watching my kid. I've always said the greatest joy I have in my life truly is watching my kids do the things that they love. And, even if that means, hanging out at the ball field in Sandusky, Ohio for a week, we're going to do it. This place is really cool, by the way. I don't know if your viewers, listeners are familiar with, this area. We're right on Lake Erie. It's got a beautiful lakefront area. And playing in this tournament, guys, you get passes to Cedar Point, the best amusement park I confidently can say I've ever been to. If you love roller coasters, this place is legit. And my stomach was in my throat multiple times on Monday when we were going from coaster to coaster.
So I can't do the roller coaster thing. So bless your heart, because I'm not afraid of much. Roller coasters makes the list, though.
There is one where you go up the hill, they take you to the top, and then it tilts you slowly, and you just hang pointed straight down for 10 seconds. And the whole time you're thinking, one, are we okay? And then secondly, when are we going to go? When are we going to go? And then it just shoots you straight down. It's called Siren's Curse. And I just saw like a ABC News story from within maybe the past month that it got stuck, like inverted like that. And all the passengers, I don't know what happened, but they were hanging there for like not 10 seconds, minutes. And I'm so glad I didn't read that before I was on the ride. Otherwise, I probably would have just skipped that one.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Kevin.
pass.
When the elevator doesn't move the way I think it should, I get a little queasy. I'm not trying to go to Cedar Point anytime soon. Okay, Kevin. So did your daughter ever play softball?
Oh my goodness, for like a year.
Okay.
And it was not a good experience. She didn't like being outside, didn't like being sweaty, and I remember a ball being hit at her and it went straight through the legs, and she did one of those, like, just looked at it. The glove didn't even go down, and we knew, okay, this isn't the sport for her.
Okay, because we've been kind of having this conversation and asking you about chirping at umpires kind of made me think of this. But since you've had so many kids play so many different sports, and I do think softball's in this discussion, we've been trying to figure out what sports the parents are like the most unhinged. You know, and I do think softball's in the neighborhood. I do think the age of baseball you're at with your son right now is in the conversation. Obviously, AAU basketball is a nominee, and I think flag football 7-on-7
stuff too.
getting a little dicey as well. Have you either in your coverage or as a parent noticed like, yeah, these people are particularly just absolutely out of their minds?
Okay, I have an answer to this, and it's from like a professional, like covering a sport.
Okay.
I think soccer parents can get insanely worked up. And maybe it's because I don't know the sport the best. I understand like spacing and passing and crosses and, you know, but I can't really get into the nitty gritty, but I just feel like there's a lot of like intensity from the crowd at a lot of soccer games that I'm at, specifically like high school soccer games. I would also say youth wrestling, that definitely takes me. And I don't know if it's just because like it is, you know, physical, like my son versus your son. And, you know, now it's my daughter versus your daughter because girls wrestling has become so popular. Those gyms are incredibly loud, incredibly intense. And there's a lot of like voices with boom behind them, if you know what I mean.
A lot of testosterone in that one. Wrestling may be one.
Yeah, that's so DJ in the chat said wrestling right as Kevin was saying that. That's a good one. We've been collecting this data. We've been collecting this data, Kevin. So we appreciate your input there.
There's no good. I think like every sport probably has an argument on that. I will say from like our baseball experience though, it's really crazy because I feel like the chirping and the loudness that you guys are like trying to like do the survey on, it dies off the older they get, which you think would be opposite. You would think like as they get older and as the level of play gets higher, you know, it increases, but it flips. It's the exact opposite. And I've even heard this from umpires that if they can self-assign games, that they would rather do like 14U and high school games as opposed to 10U because I don't know what it is about those early ages, but you can get a lot of turned up people watching the games. And, you know, I will say, don't base your, you know, like if you're trying to answer this question after hearing it from you, I love this dialogue, by the way. Like if people are listening or watching this, Ravi, DB, and they're like associating with what they see on social media, like those social media clips, they don't represent the masses. It's just like one instance, because every sport has a crazy moment, right? Yeah. We've seen youth wrestling where a dad runs onto the mat and punches somebody. And we've seen the things that have happened at some of these travel ball tournaments, you know, involving Nebraska teams. There's one every year, but that doesn't represent the, you know, hundreds of other families that are involved in the sport. So it's a fascinating conversation. I'm going to throw soccer and youth wrestling into the mix. Hopefully that doesn't complicate it for you, but maybe that's my opinion. But I do think like as baseball goes on, you know, the temperature of the games goes down.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
I was really specific about that.
You said 10 to 14.
I said 10 to 14 is arguably the worst, but it gets much better. And
you get to high school, it's not bad.
And it's funny too, because you used umps as the example. Who did I tell you I was talking to that quantified it? It was umpires.
It was officials
that said, hey, I don't know what it is about the younger they are. It's a nightmare. He said, but it gets better.
You get to high school,
you get to high school.
It's wild stuff. And also, like, my nephew played on a really good baseball team out of Illinois a couple of years ago. He's going into his senior year of high school, and there was a lot of like highly rated players on it. And my brother-in-law even told me at one point, he goes, "This is a wild experience because nobody cheers. Like there's like not even crowd noise outside of like, let's go, Johnny." And that was it. And they're some of the best players in the state. It was wild. But that's just kind of like, they're just there to just watch these boys do what they love. And yeah, at that point, I think a lot of the recruitment stuff was already over. So, it's kind of done.
You're like, here we go. All right. Good, AB.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. Best wishes to win the games, man. Hopefully they play well.
Yeah, we got 2 games coming up here. About to get on the field against the Blue Jays, and I have no idea what state they're from. We've played some Chicago area teams here in Sandusky. There's a team from Oklahoma City here that's pretty good. There's an Ohio team that's pretty good. So we'll see. 3-0 right now. Let's keep it rolling. Bracket play starts tomorrow.
Let's go, buddy. Best wishes.
We'll talk to you later, Kevin.
Thank you. Be good.
That's Kevin Sjuts, 10-11 News in Lincoln. We'll take a quick break here.
I always thought he was funny.
Yeah.
I like the off-the-cuff stuff.
Yeah, no, he's good. I like talking to Kevin.
He's entertaining.
I met him in person for the first time a couple years ago. I like him.
I told you, he's sneaky intense.
Yeah.
He knows his baseball.
Yeah, he does. He's doesn't seem like one of the crazy baseball dads, despite his story. But it's good.
Wrestling's a great pull.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that one.
Great pull.
Let's take a quick break. We have Jacob Padilla coming up next. We're bringing him on to talk about volleyball. I have a feeling there might be some NBA draft talk.
A little bit.
As well. Just a little bit. Might be some Wagler Burries conversations.
No.
That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
Slide into savings at Edwards Hyundai. Finance the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe at 0% for 72 months. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Hyundai Kona SE all-wheel drive. Sign and drive starting at $287 a month with 0 down. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Hyundai.
Not only are you on this coaching staff, but you're also an alum of this program, and you know what it means to wear these colors. What does this all mean to you? How are you feeling these emotions right now?
It's hard to put into words. I feel really blessed to be a part of it in a small way, and getting to watch these players and coaches and the amount of time and effort that we've put in, throughout the last year. It's a long road, and I'm just thankful that we ended where we did.
Spending this moment with your son as well. How do you even summarize what this means to you too?
You can't. I mean, it's something you'll never forget. It's a God thing that I feel blessed to just be here and be a small part of the journey that he's going through, and watch him now that he's a dad, and he's got a wife, and I'm just proud of the man that he is, probably as much or more than of the player that he is, and just to watch him go about his business on a daily basis, and how he prepares and how he works, but how he compartmentalizes that, and how good of a dad and husband he is. It's been pretty remarkable.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Jacob Padilla from Hurrdat Sports. JP, what's going on, buddy? How we doing?
Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing?
Young Jacob, where are you on your way to?
Down to Norris. Go watch your Westside Warriors and a handful of other teams here as we kind of reach the last week of June for high school stuff.
You out there in the good facility?
Sorry, say it again.
I said, are you down out in that newly built? No, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
No storm, but I mean that facility's pretty sweet.
Yeah, no doubt. Their new gym. It's always funny when like these junior, senior high school like combos, or the middle school, it gets the upgrade and like becomes the main gym. But yeah, it's one of the better venues I think to go to a game. Decent size, obviously. Something like this, you don't have the bleachers out and everything. But when it's a big game at Norris, like that place is going to be packed. And obviously they've had some really good ones there over the years too, with the teams they've had, and some of the teams that end up on their schedule.
Jacob, you cover. It's funny because we were just talking about like rowdy crowds, and I saw you at 7-on-7, so you're seeing that elevate. You've been to a lot of sport. Volleyball, you cover volleyball. We'll get to that in a second. Is there any? Kevin Sjuts was talking about the big difference between youth baseball, like 10U to 14U to high school. Any different or more different venue than watching AAU high school basketball settings to actual in-season high school basketball settings? They're completely different.
Oh yeah, like that adds a whole nother layer to the game because of the scouting aspect. Everything's just so much more controlled. All these teams know each other so much better. Like AAU, you just roll out the ball and go play. Like we try to do some scouting. Like we've got the video service or whatever. You can go back and watch some games. But in general, it's just kind of you go roll out, play your game, and hope for the best. Whereas you can catch some teams off guard with some shooters, some guys kind of they don't necessarily always know what they do best. And high school, they're scouting all that stuff. So you have to know how to execute your stuff against teams that know what's coming, and have to find a way to be effective when teams know what you like to do.
JP, I got to ask you here before we get into volleyball and commitments and things like that. Is there any beef you want to hash out on the NBA draft with old DB over here? I know it
was fleeting.
The chat was pretty lively there. I'm just wondering if there's any, if you need to like beat him up.
He wants me to catch a few strays, JP, because he was MIA and he wasn't in the fray. So he's like, usually Jacob gets to be mean to DB for once.
Usually I'm on the receiving end of Jacob's ire, so I just need it to be somebody else for a minute.
I wasn't even pushing back. I was just trying to play out the string and kind of get more of your thoughts on why. See, the thing is, you guys watch so much more college basketball than I do because I'm usually out and about during a lot of games, or whether I'm at a Creighton game, at a high school game, or whatever. So you've gotten to see these guys a lot more than I do. I'm kind of going into the draft. I didn't follow it as much as I have in the past. I used to do some scouting reports back in my blogging days and mock drafts. And I used to really dive deep into it. Now, more than anything, it's just kind of wow, these guys are all awesome, and I'm kind of excited to see how it plays out. I don't have a lot of super strong feelings. I think a lot of these guys have a chance to be really awesome. And obviously, they all have some question marks. That's the nature of the draft. I wouldn't be shocked. The Keaton Walker versus Braden Burries was the conversation that Ravi's referring to. Obviously, some of the athleticism stuff is definitely a red flag for Wagler, just the complete lack of kind of the athletic indicators within his shot profile and all that. That being said, I think he can really shoot, and he's at the point where he's kind of figured out how to maximize his game without having that real pop, like with the way he changes pace, the way he reads defenses, stuff like that. So like I definitely think he has a chance to be pretty good. And what you said is I kind of said the same thing right before, just in terms of how he benefited from Illinois' system and spacing and all that compared to Burry's. But we also did see him handle more responsibilities than Burry's did. So it's kind of more of a question, all right, how does Burry scale up more with the ball in his hands and that type of thing? Like, no doubt he's going to be a good pro. It's just kind of, all right, where does he reach in terms of overall impact? But I like both those guys. Like, I think they both have a chance to be some really good NBA players.
Okay, so remember we had this thing about Cooper Flag, and we were talking about offense, and I said pencil him in for. I said we know what he's going to be, right? Pencil him in for 19 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think he went 21 and 7. Jacob, which of the stats that I thought he would be versus where you saw him play, which one will he continue in the direction of? Will he be a better rebounder? Will he get more buckets? Like, what do you think that when I said 18 or 19 and 10, what am I discounting versus where you think he'll be?
Well, especially now with kind of the way they're building that team, and kind of the way that the role that he's played early on in his career. I feel like this is one that I was on the right side of.
100%.
It's definitely going to be the scoring. Like, they're going to play through him, and you had Morris Johnson now. That's a guy. You got him lively when he's healthy. That combination there, they'll probably at some point try to figure out something to do with Gaffer just to kind of clear the space there and so they can reshuffle things a little bit. But I think there's just a lot more in his game, and the fact that it wasn't ideal, the role that he had to play with the ball in his hands so much and nobody really making the game easy for him. It'll probably be better for his development in the long run, even if it was kind of tough early on in his career, because he just had so many on-ball reps, and that's going to benefit him as he continues to develop and continues to kind of polish up the jumper. Like, that's obviously kind of the next thing for him to round out his game. He's already so crafty, handling the ball and getting to the rim, using his athleticism. So, like, if he gets that three ball up into the kind of mid to upper 30s to go with everything else that he kind of showed this year, then he's going to be in the mid 20s potentially, and 5, 6, 7 assists depending on kind of the pieces they put around him and the role that they put him in. Like, he's just such a well-rounded player, and I think they're kind of really putting him in position to kind of continue to blow up.
Who interests you, JP? Is it a healthy Indiana? I'm interested in a healthy Utah. I think Washington is interesting, but then I remind myself it's still Washington.
Still Trae Young.
I can clearly see Milwaukee's plan. They're interesting. Are there a couple of teams where you're like, they could be fascinating next year?
Indiana is the easy one just because they basically did take the year off, and now, what does Halliburton look like, and how do they kind of reload this and get ready to get back into contention? Obviously missing out on the draft pick hurts, but now they've got their center, and I think Sjuts will be a good fit playing with Halliburton. We did not get to see kind of how that looks this past year after making the trade. So they're probably the number one answer there. Especially, obviously, you've got the Knicks kind of running it back while they continue to make cost-saving moves, because Jim Dolan is still Jim Dolan and will always be Jim Dolan. But they're still going to be there in the mix. We'll see what happens with Boston. Like, that's kind of another wild card right now. Is all right, what happens with Jaylen Brown? Obviously, I mean, all along he's kind of given off the impression that, like, he doesn't want to be a number 2. He wants to have his own team. And I mean, heck, he said this year was
the most fun
year of his career. Yeah, exactly. Like, because he just got to rock with the ball and do everything. And I think there's diminishing returns with him in that role, but he obviously does not believe that. So where does Boston go from here? Obviously, we've heard the rumors that they're still kind of open for business, and I'm obviously sure we'll probably get some good quotes on the stream at some point here, but it doesn't seem like he's a guy that would handle that well, and at the very least, may be interested, depending on what teams do show interest in him. So like that could change things. Obviously, I don't know what to think of Miami yet. They've still got some work to do to kind of put the full picture together. I think it is a little bit clunky fit overall, but obviously, if Giannis is healthy, like Giannis and Bam, like that's a heck of a combination just from defensively and rim pressure and physicality that it's going to be tough for teams to match up with. Now we're just got to see if they can put together a viable, obviously, Norman Powell thing. I saw some reporting that they may not be able to keep him, which would be a big blow for them as they continue to try to build with Giannis. So, yeah, I mean, the East is going to be really interesting next year, just with kind of all the wild cards out there.
JP, who do you look at as like what franchises qualify as a place where Jaylen Brown could be that number one guy? Like, I mean,
Sacramento.
Good Lord.
I know they got a cup now. They're good.
You know, you just look at so many.
I was so bummed, JP, because you know I love A-Cuff, and it's like, can anybody flourish in Sacramento?
Hey, that's where he wanted to go, so he got his wish. Yeah, to your question, Ravi, I saw some buzz maybe like Atlanta. There's some pieces there that can make it work where now you plug him back into that team. They've got a lot of, like, obviously Jalen Johnson has kind of really flourished over the last couple of years, but he's not necessarily the big name. Like, you plug Jaylen Brown in there, you certainly feel like he's the best player on the team, I'm sure. Like, that could be an interesting one. I don't know. Like, I don't know what Jaylen Brown trades look like. Like, that's kind of the fascinating thing about them not getting Giannis is, okay, now what? What does that look like? What trade can Boston make that gets them the kind of return that they're not taking a step back? And that also puts Brown in a position where he's happy and gets what he wants out of the deal.
Interesting.
What a reluctant superstar.
Well, it's just super weird because, like, I totally understand what you're saying about, like, a guy wanting the keys to his own team, but I'm just looking around the league and I'm like, okay, who even, like, I look at Chicago, they would qualify, but what do they have that Boston would want in that situation? You know what I mean? Like, unless you're getting into 3-team deals and other things, because my thought is if you're Boston, you go, okay, maybe I look at New York and I go, okay, maybe instead of 2 awesome guys, I want 1 awesome guy and like 6 really good guys.
Yeah.
And you don't really have that necessarily right now if you're Boston, but Chicago doesn't have 3 really good guys that they can trade you. You know, Atlanta probably doesn't either when you're looking at guys that would actually be available. So I look at teams that would qualify and I'm like, what would they even trade them? It's not like you can just hand Boston 3 first-rounders and they're happy because Boston wants to win the championship next year.
Yeah, that's exactly why this is so interesting. And how does Boston, like, obviously Brad Stevens has done a lot of good things and deserves somewhat of the benefit of the doubt. But it is a kind of fascinating situation they found themselves in, and especially considering kind of the bargain they drove for Giannis and where they weren't willing to budge on some aspects to kind of push over the top against Miami. In part because I think they wanted to keep all their kind of pieces, the rotation players, the young role players that they feel are kind of important to continuing to push this thing forward around teams. So that's going to be, how far gone is it? Like, is this something that they absolutely have to do, or it's going to get toxic, or is it a situation where they're okay running it back, and if they don't get the right situation doesn't present itself, are they okay with, like, yep, Jalen, just suck it up, you you're in a good spot. You got a chance to go compete for a championship. Just go out there and play, and maybe circle around to this again down the road. I don't know.
It's hard to take some of that stuff back, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
And it doesn't seem like
again, with
Brown
he's gonna be like, "Oh man, you know what I really meant was."
he doesn't really seem like a forgive and forget type of guy either.
No. All right, JP. You like competition, super competitive. How much is too much for this Nebraska volleyball team?
Just 3 of the top 6 recruits in the country, no big deal.
Yeah, and it's like no problem. Like, how is this going to sort itself out?
Well, especially now you got the age-based eligibility rules going into effect probably today. So that adds another wrinkle to this thing where, heck, this senior class could come back, and all the players behind them now have another year as well. So it'll be fascinating to see kind of how patient people get versus not in the new landscape where careers are longer, and kind of how do coaches handle that? What does the next recruiting class look like for Nebraska? Can they continue just to go get the best of the best and kind of let it play itself out, or do they maybe slow down a little bit in this next class because they may not have anybody leaving. We'll see kind of how that plays out once we get to that point, because obviously the players kind of declined. They kind of put it on the back burner, didn't really want to talk about it in the spring when kind of the buzz was going around that it might be happening. So we kind of don't know their thoughts on it yet. Those practices are going to be insane once again, because even this year, they just from what they show in the spring, they've got some really good players that aren't going to play on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to see kind of coaches have to handle their rosters, not just in terms of putting players, the best players out there, but keeping everybody happy and finding a way to maintain a good culture. And I think Danny Busson-Kelly is uniquely prepared to handle that, just based on the way that she does operate, in terms of the way that she connects with players, but then also does give bench players opportunities to play throughout the year and to give them chances as well. Like, you don't really have anybody just sitting the bench the whole season. Like, everybody played for Nebraska last year. Obviously, not everybody's going to be able to play the role that they may like, but just getting a chance to contribute, I think, helps. And obviously now, no redshirt, like that's, it wasn't super common, but it was still a useful tool. And now that's just straight up gone for even the players where it probably would benefit them and that they were on board with it. So, it's going to be fascinating to see kind of in this new era how coaches manage their rosters and manage recruiting and all that, especially with, the transfer portal's not going to slow down any, so coaches are always going to want to have roster spots available. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of just how things move forward. But I think Nebraska is obviously in a very good spot to make the best of it.
Let me ask you something. This might seem like a dumb question, but doesn't Adriano only have 3 years of eligibility?
I need to get a clarification on that, because
a dumb question.
Because do you just tack on an extra year to what she was originally given? Is that how that works? Or I don't know. Like, I didn't necessarily read all the details of the release. Just kind of wait until it's all official and everything. And but we'll see, because she came in listed as a freshman, but only got 3 years. So does she have 4 years now? I don't know. That she's kind of a unique situation. Obviously, there are more and more players from overseas coming to college volleyball, but they're still kind of outliers in terms of across the country. And in a rule like this, like, how does that impact them? I don't know.
Because in 2027, this is weird, but in 2027, Olivia would be their only senior.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Like, this, I don't.
That's just say that out loud.
Yeah. Again, it's these players all stick around for longer. Like that's a lot of talent and that's a lot of young talent that has to wait their turn. Like, and it's going to be tough to go get recruit 3 of the top 6 in the next class if they don't have any roster spots available moving forward. But on the flip side, you're happy to have the older players stick around for longer if they prove themselves.
Must be not. DBK, that staff, they could probably say, hey, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, that's the advantage of being in Nebraska's position right now.
I mean, because that's what you have to say.
Yeah.
Do we lose him?
I think that's probably. You got me?
Yep. I mean,
okay. I think that's probably where they were at this cycle. It's like, we're just going to do what we do, and we'll figure it out later. Because we're Nebraska volleyball, and we can kind of do that.
Yeah, your freshman class in 28 is Rottenberg, Samuels, and Hodges. Those are your freshmen in 2028.
Yeah, and like I said, that's 3 of the top 6 in the country, right, JP?
Yep. Yeah. No, not bad. It's them in Texas loading up there, just kind of monopolizing the top 10 of this 28 class.
So I want to talk
Shocking,
about.
Right?
I want to talk about Rottenberg here in a second, but answer me this first. Do you think this next couple years, assuming the 5x5 goes through the way that we're assuming that it does at this point, do you think that maybe gives an opportunity for some schools kind of on that tier below, even not that they're a tier below necessarily, but even like teams like Creighton that maybe don't get to recruit at this level all the time, to get opportunities to have access to players that's like, well, hey, we want to play. We don't want to just sit around and wait. Like, do you think you might see a little bit of a trickle-down effect with some of these high-level players that are just looking for a place to play immediately?
Oh, definitely. And I think you even see it. It's like, you look at the top 100 or whatever on the just kind of based on the rankings that are out there. Like, there are a lot of, like, non-power, like, mid-majors or whatever that end up with, like South Dakota's done actually has recruited really well over the years, like with just Nebraska kids that end up highly ranked, like in the top 100, top 150 or whatever, and things like that. We're already seeing a little bit of it, and I'm sure once this goes into effect, there's probably going to be some players that have to transfer just because there's not room. Either have to transfer or reopen their recruitment just because of roster crunches. And I mean, we saw that with the COVID year where some teams and players had to make some tough choices and had to go elsewhere. So, I'm sure that's kind of one of the aspects of it where it's going to be harder to stockpile talent because really talented players aren't going to want to have to wait that much longer than even they had in the past. That being said, a place like Nebraska, it's whether you're playing or not, it's a really good place to be as a volleyball player, just in terms of kind of what you get out of that experience. Mm-hmm. So I have no doubt that Nebraska will maintain as deep a roster as anybody in the country, even with this. But it will be fascinating to see if there's a couple decisions that maybe go a different way because they're looking at, okay, there's an easier path to playing time here, and that's kind of what's going to be most important to those players.
No, it's interesting. Maybe they'll do like USA, World Cup tomorrow and just play their second lineup. I mean,
there's times where you might, right? Like where this is a.
I mean, do you think we'll see something like that, JP?
They did do it this past year, didn't they?
Yeah, I kind of. Yeah.
But like to a more aggressive degree, you mean?
Yeah, like just outwardly, like, hey. Instead of post game, like what happened to, and she says, "Oh, we just wanted to take a look at." It's just this is gonna be how it is.
Yeah,
because that's kind of how last year was.
It's like, this is Northwestern. We don't need to roll out the 8 team or whatever.
I don't. JP.
Yeah. No. I don't know that they'll be super like that much more aggressive. I think it'll just probably be more of what we saw from her last year.
Substitute,
in terms of mixing them in and giving them chances. Obviously, we saw in the past, like John Cook with the 3 middles would give Rebecca Alec like a back-to-back off or whatever, and would get the younger players in there just as a veteran with a lot of reps under her belt, just kind of give her a chance to maintain her body and give the younger player a chance to play. And we saw Danny kind of do that in multiple spots, and then we also saw someone struggling, not afraid to go to the backup. I think it'll probably be more that than, all right, we're just rolling out the B side here just for the sake of continuity. And obviously, I think the starters want to play too, especially if it'll be fascinating to see this year, like Bergen Riley. They sat her a handful of sets last year, and obviously now, like maybe she's got another year, so that may not really factor in. But because we saw a little bit of that kind of deflating her numbers and all that, just based on the time that she was splitting with Campbell Flynn. So is that something that they'll continue to do this year as kind of Bergen goes into her last year or two, or will she win all those reps? I don't know. We'll see kind of how this continues to evolve, but it'll be fascinating. It's such a massive change in all sports that I don't really know what to make of it just yet. Oh boy.
You all right over there?
Yeah, just there's not quite sure. Got some fire trucks and some smoke and a car on fire.
He said, "Oh boy."
Well, that's not great.
All right,
Yeah,
JP. We'll let you focus and dial in, buddy.
It's not your car, right?
No, thankfully.
Just very
boy.
Jacob-esque fashion. Oh boy.
Fortunately, it's on the other side
around me, but I'm cool. It's unflappable, JP. Unflappable.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll
All
talk
right,
to you
buddy.
later. That is Jacob Padilla from Hurrdat Sports, NEB Preps, Hail Varsity. Basically, all the things we do, Jacob does. He's all over the place. We appreciate him.
Unbelievable.
All right, let's take a quick break here. That's DBM, Ravi, Lulla. We will be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live right after this.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid S all-wheel drive starting at $299 a month. Edwards Kia is on a winning streak. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2027 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive starting at $469 a month. Don't wait. Slide into savings with the Edwards Kia Summer Sticker Sales event.
Life Scott, WorldBaseball.com. Skip, you've spoken a lot about not knowing who's going to come up big and being selfless and all that. Your number 9 hitter went 3 for 4 with 6 RBIs tonight. Your thoughts on Kyle Branch and his performance?
That's a Jesus thing, man. I was praying hard. I'm telling you.
And I talked to him earlier about getting on top of the plate. If we're throwing on one side of the plate or the other, take one of the side of the plate off of him. And he's an unbelievable kid. He works extremely hard, and he scuffled a little bit this year. But guys with the right attitude come up in the best moments of the game. That's what baseball does. If you keep persevering through it, you come up with the right attitude, and the game will pay you back. I don't know what it is about the game. It's the spirit of the game. It protects those guys that continue to work at it and attack it, and it exploits the guys that are afraid of it and are timid.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ.
I'm white.
You are white.
What?
Wow. There's a lot of things they can do for you over at Next Gen Male Medical. That's not one of them.
Whoa.
Give them a call, 402-614-9700. They will get you feeling your best, regardless of what it is, whether it's a little bit of weight loss, a little bit of peptides, a little bit of vitamins. They've got you covered. 402-614-9700. Tell them that Ravi and DB sent you over from Hurrdat Sports Live. You get a free vitamin shot with your first order as well. Austin, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I like the volleyball talk. It's nice to kind of get it in, just be able to
good.
expand the horizons. We got plenty going on.
I really love the, and the Shayla Rottenberg of it all. And like you've seen her play, and it's exciting for me that you've got the top volleyball recruit in the country is from the state of Nebraska. Like, that's always fun. That's not something that you get all the time, whether it's volleyball or any other sport.
Yeah, but I think exactly what you and JP were talking about just a minute ago. I have thought this from when the announcement came out yesterday in terms of Nebraska volleyball, and it applies to football too, in terms of 5 for 5. I think it's a short-term issue, but a long-term solution.
Agree.
Because it's exactly,
there's going to be a backlog.
15 months ago, we were talking about this with the 105-man football roster. Like, we thought, oh my God, what a concern. Like, it cuts out your depth and all this other stuff. And it turns out, like, people adjusted pretty quickly. But
they grandfathered it in, so it helped.
And it was stressful at the time. But it's not like this isn't something that they can't plan for. Now, obviously, if the main seniors for Nebraska volleyball come back this upcoming, from the fall and decide to come back for 27, that makes it a little bit more concerning.
Sure.
But I don't think they're going to have as big of an issue with it as the fan base and other volleyball fans perceive it to be. Because I think if you follow the trail of breadcrumbs, specifically, I think a lot of people obviously point directly to Harper Murray.
Sure.
They point directly to Andy Jackson. The libero side makes it a little more interesting because, like, Lainey has there's a couple of players behind her that make it interesting. Setter is also interesting too because you do have Campbell Flynn. You've got Mallory Bosinger that's coming up as well too. But kind of when you look at what I think happens next, I think a lot of the hyper talented seniors that are graduating at the end of this year, I think that they are ready for that next step.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because I think that that's the unspoken part of this, right? It's not everyone that's granted a 5th year of eligibility
will take it.
Exactly.
I also think there's, we'll knock on all the wood here, but if this season ends the way the senior class wants it to, I have to imagine that makes it pretty easy to be like, hey, we came here to accomplish something. We did it.
Yes.
Let's go play pro volleyball now.
And
right?
Kobe puts it, why wouldn't the volleyball players come back? That would be dumb not to. I'll tell you exactly why. And it's something that they've all openly said and are already setting pieces in place for. Harper has been very open that her one true dream in her volleyball career is to play for Team USA and to be an Olympian. Not saying that that can't happen if she plays a 5th year at Nebraska, but we have now seen on the local side, there are avenues in which you can work yourself into a better circumstance to get to that point.
Well, can focus on it 100%. I understand we kind of roll our eyes at this, but they are still in school when they have to play in college, right? there is a certain amount of you have to take these classes and whatever systems are in place to help them do that. I understand, but it's another thing you have to do and worry about. That's not volleyball or not football or whatever. Right. So I do think, and there are, the Harper Murray example is a really good one. There are people who their ultimate dream is not to play college volleyball. It's to play for Team USA or to play professional or whatever. So if you have an opportunity to take that, then I think that's a big deal. And so I'm not saying they won't come back and take the money and play for Nebraska again and try and, hopefully try and win back-to-back titles or whatever how the season ends. But I don't think it's a given that all of them will just be like, yep, let's run it back.
And understand, too, that two specifically, Harper and Andy, are making, I would assume, pretty decent money from brand deals that are outside of their NIL attached to Nebraska. Andy is sponsored by a Greek yogurt company, probably the most notable one. And, of course, Harper is an Adidas athlete.
Yeah.
Those aren't going to change.
Yeah, that money doesn't automatically go away.
Yeah.
Right.
They are likely going to keep that, especially if they continue and choose to play pro volleyball. Now, everyone in the chat that's like, oh, well, the money's different. Yes, I understand what you're saying, but you also have to remember that every single athlete's circumstance is different, especially at Nebraska volleyball, comparative when you look down the road and at other places. Nebraska volleyball's NIL money, much different than Creighton's NIL money, but in that same circumstance, Harper Murray and what her NIL and what her, name, image, likeness outside of college athletics is much different than many of the other players that are on her own roster.
Yeah, I also think this is sort of the argument that was made about Caitlin Clark when she was coming out of Iowa, right?
Great point. Yes.
Like she took a pay cut on the surface in terms of Iowa could offer her more than her WNBA salary, but she kept a lot of those endorsements. And signed a Nike deal. She's got a signature shoe now, So a lot of those things aren't going to necessarily go away. Like name, image, and likeness is still a thing once you turn pro. Now, I don't know what that looks like when you're not associated with the university. I don't know how much value that adds for Adidas, but for the top end players, I think a lot of those advertising dollars stay in their pocket.
Yeah.
And so I do think it'll be interesting to see the choices that people make. I think it'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see, obviously we just had the NBA draft last night. I'm really interested to see what this looks like in college basketball because you just saw that Michigan with a super old team won the national title.
And it's not a new thing.
No.
The older your team is, the better your teams are when it comes to national championships over the past few years.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but since the expansion of the tournament, only 2 or 3 teams have won a national title with a true freshman as their leading scorer. This is not new. Older teams win. Now you have an opportunity and an avenue to have even older teams and older guys come in, guys that you didn't think were going to be eligible next year. That's really interesting. And
relatively, too, if you look at the opposite.
Even for Nebraska, can Sam Hoiberg play next year?
Yeah. And if you look at the opposite, or Jamarcus Lawrence is probably a lot what people are wanting to. But if you turn it to the opposite side of that conversation, Kentucky had the most expensive roster in college basketball, if not one of the most.
Yeah.
And those are all 5-star guys that have NBA, evaluations, guys that will probably be one and done, want to move on, all that sort of stuff. Even after the Calipari, they want to be able to,
absolutely.
It's the Kentucky system, right? But yet they were a first round or second round out, right? They did not, they were nowhere up to where their talent was.
I think you almost have to view one and done true freshmen as you would a transfer portal addition in terms of, hey, I need you to be supplemental. Some programs, I think the way Nebraska football looks at transfers is how most college basketball needs to look at transfers. Hey, I need you to be supplemental, but I can't be building my entire team through true freshmen, right? That's not a thing we've seen work all but a couple times. 14 Kentucky off the top of my head is the one where I'm like, yep, that worked. You've got all the freshmen and Anthony Davis and all those guys, but I think it's going to be really interesting to see what that looks like in other sports. I think there's a really interesting case to be made that you're going to, have, and we've already seen this with college basketball, a lot of guys stay. A lot of guys stay in college basketball as opposed to going pro, even guys that may or may not have, they're kind of borderline first round grades. So I think there might be a couple of years here where the talent in the NBA drafts are not great. Right, where you have a little bit of a glut of talent for the NBA draft, where you're like, there's really maybe there's 5 or 6 guys we like, but There's not a ton of second rounders. There's not a ton of guys after the lottery where you're just, I mean, this was a good draft, but after about 8 or 9 guys, you're like, there's, so I could give or take a bunch of dudes after that.
Do you think over time this will make the NBA draft better because there will be more experienced players that have played more basketball?
So that's an interesting question. I think it'll make college basketball better for sure. We've already seen that with NIL, that college basketball is better than it was when it was all one and dones and you didn't get a lot of continuity there.
Do you think we'll see more guys like Kalkbrenner that will go through and play like all
or
those
like
years?
a Yaxel Lindenberg just saw?
Yep.
I think you will. I do think the NBA is going to have to kind of recalibrate their evaluations, right? Like the evaluation on Yaxel Lindenberg is really strange because he's 23 or he's going to be 24. But he hasn't played that much basketball, but he was the best player on a championship team. Like he's a really interesting evaluation. So you have to figure out what's left in terms of ceiling versus where do I think his floor is in the NBA. I think you're going to have way more prospects like that. Now he's more unique because he didn't play a ton of basketball before UAB, but I think you're going to see more prospects like that where you're trying to, like Baylor Shireman's a great example.
Yes, yeah.
Baylor and Kalkbrenner are great examples of this where I think you're going to have guys that are more ready to help good teams, and maybe you'll see fewer mistakes on guys like I don't want to throw this guy under the bus, but whatever. Like Nate Ament.
Darren Peterson.
Like Nate Ament. I don't think Nate Ament is a guy that's gonna be a good pro, but he's kind of has this version of himself where you're like, well, look what he could be if everything goes right. It's like that's not generally how things work. And I think the longer guys are in college, the fewer of those mistakes you make. Now you're still going to have your Nate Aments, you're still going to have your one and done and stuff like that. But I do think it'll be less the more appealing it is to stay in college.
I mean, you could definitely make the argument of this 5-for-5 paired with how the NBA draft allows players to at least go to combines, get evaluated, talk to an agent, be like, hey, here's where you're projected to be. Here's where the highest, what your projected monetary value is. Nebraska had this happen past couple of years. Creighton has had this happen the past couple of years. I mean, Kalkbrenner obviously didn't he go back-to-back years to the combine and then pulled himself out and then obviously went and got drafted?
He might have gone 3 years in a row.
And so
I mean, a couple though, at least.
If you're just looking primarily at just the athlete part of it, this is the best time ever to be in college basketball, like comparative to any other sport, because you can be evaluated, you can determine your value, and you can continue to get better yourself as a prospect, better
and
yourself.
Get paid.
Yeah. And on that same boat, you don't have to take necessarily the risk that a lot of college basketball players had to take 8 years ago and say, I got to make some money right now.
Yeah.
And no matter what I get from the NBA, if it's G League, if it's a Europe contract, whatever it is,
it's better than nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting question. Carol says, can we talk about the TJ implications this might have? I assume he's talking about TJ Lateef because you would have an extra year Calandria. I would have to imagine TJ Lateef would leave at that point.
Right.
Because if you've got Calandria starting for 2 years, you'd have Trey as a backup for 1, and then I would imagine would be ready to start as in his second year in the program, which is too bad because I really do like TJ Lateef. But like if that's how the timing works out, he got a couple years to develop at Nebraska, got some starting time. I have to imagine he would move on to a program where he would get to play, but which is a bummer.
Yeah. But again, this is all it's all hypothetical, right? Because anything can happen with Calandria for the good or the bad, and you never know what that means for somebody else. Like, and how they value.
Maybe he has the same year he had at UNLV, but he has it in the Big Ten now, and all of a sudden people are like, I think he's like a second or third round draft.
If you copy and paste his stats from UNLV to Nebraska for this upcoming season, he's the single season all-time yardage leader.
Yeah,
at Nebraska as a quarterback. I mean, that's insane to think about, but it's true.
Right. And so and listen, I understand this is a stretch, but if he has that same level of year in the Big Ten, I get that he's not super tall, but you're going to look at that guy and you're going to be like, is that a guy we need to draft? And then maybe we're having a different conversation about TJ Lateef at that point, and he's having a different calculus of maybe wanting to take advantage of being a hot commodity and trying to go to the draft.
I think Kobe and Heath have similar questions that we could touch on, but sorry, go ahead. What were you
no, that was all. He says opportunity to play at the next level while getting an education is still valued by kids who aren't top tier talent. I would agree.
And before that, he asked, takes on the NIL impacting smaller D2 and NAIA schools. Seems like kids who love ball don't care about that stuff are still going to those schools. And then Kobe follows up, 5 for 5 is going to help football development greatly. Freshmen can play in all the games now instead of only 4. I think so. The NAIA part of it, and you can maybe touch on this a little bit more because you're more invested in that world. I don't know how much it changes there. You might get a couple of guys, like relatively, that evaluation is probably going to stay about the same. You know the type of kids you're kind of looking for at that sense. And a lot of kids, like locally, a lot of kids, when they play NAIA football or any sport that are from, especially the state that I know of, they're going because they love the sport. They know realistically, they're like, hey, I'm probably not going to be getting more off of this. Maybe I get a new opportunity. I believe it was Reggie Thomas from Westside, went to Hastings College, had a fantastic year, was player of the year in the conference, and then moved up to North Dakota and became kind of a role player his final year of college basketball there. Those are kind of the best opportunities. Yes, there's always going to be one-offs here and there. I would say 90% of the kids that you get probably at NAIA realistically know what the expectation is. And they're willing to go there for education. They can get a scholarship, and they are doing something that they are passionate about, and maybe can get a future career. Maybe they can get into GA. Maybe they can get into, a football assistant suit, something along those lines, right?
Yeah, I think I think the biggest impact is going to be on the FCS level. I think you're going to see a lot of really good players end up playing FCS football. And then I think the other place is I do think you're going to see a resurgence in junior college football. I think you're going to have a lot of kids that, whether it's because like late bloomers, I think are not going to have opportunities to play, to get like power conference offers. Like when we get into this, like the Maurice Purifies of the world with the late spring offer of a senior year, I don't think there's going to be a ton of those. There's already not a ton, but I think that's basically all but going to go away. Guys like that, I think, are going to end up at junior colleges.
Yeah, because your roster is also going to be
smaller at the 105, right?
Yeah.
So I think junior colleges are going to be a viable option, not just for kids that have academic trouble or things like that, but I think you're going to see junior colleges be sort of a viable feeder program to power conference schools once again, because even if it's, think about it this way now, even if you don't get the extra year anymore, or even if you can't game the system to get an extra year, which I think some kids with their age will be able to, right? But let's say you go to JUCO for 2 years, you develop, you don't count against the roster limit, and then you go to Nebraska for 3 years. That's an advantage to Nebraska, and that's a kid that wasn't going to get to go to Nebraska straight out of high school. Yeah. So it's an advantage to the kid as well. I think that's programs like Iowa Western, I think, are going to have a really, really interesting role. You might see a resurgence of, back when, in the 90s and early 2000s, when I really started following recruiting and the recruiting sites became a big deal in the early 2000s, the Jayhawk Conference Kansas JUCOs were a huge deal. I think you're going to start to see that come back a little bit, where it's not just guys that got in trouble. It's not just academic issues. It's guys that's like, hey, we're not quite ready for you to be on our roster yet. We have a really good relationship with X JUCO. Go there for a couple of years, get better, develop. We trust what they're doing. And then come here, kind of like a wink, wink, nod, nod, understanding. We've got a spot for you, but it's 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of the way college basketball programs used to stash guys at prep schools and things like that. I think you're going to start to see some of that where I'm actually excited for it, because I do think there was a world 8 to 10 years ago where it seemed like JUCO football was going to die, at least in the sense that of it being kind of a big deal. I think we're going to see it come back in a major way.
And in that same sense, and I won't name names, but I think it'll be fairly obvious maybe who I'm talking about. But there are, on that same note, Division II schools that are inside of this state and surrounding in the area that have those type of conversations already. And those conversations have even greater significance now, where they say, listen, we see you as this prospect right now.
Yeah.
But we believe that we can develop you, we can give you a few years by this point, and they can say it now, when you are this age, we think you are going to be this type of player if you follow our process.
Yeah.
When you get to that point, we want what's best for you, and we believe that you could be a Division I player that transfers up, or you could be seen by like a bigger program and you could kind of work your way there. And again, if you're a Division II school, listen, the MIAA surrounds all of Nebraska and is inside of this state as well. There are some damn good football players that have come through the years that have been drafted in the NFL that did not have the opportunity to move up because they were undersized, because they didn't have the amount of film, but their stats were off the charts. And some of them ended up having pretty long careers, whether it be professional football, Canadian football, arena football, like whatever the case may be. But
I mean, we saw, is it Dave Tollison? I think he was like Missouri Western. You know, that's an MIAA school where he played and had opportunity. You know, like there's just tons of a ton of examples of guys like that.
There's a couple of different. There's a Fort Hays State defensive tackle who was drafted like in the 3rd round a couple of years ago. I know from my experience, like with UNK under the Josh Lynn regime that was there, that was never a part of their conversation because
Northwest Missouri State.
Because that was such a different time.
Yeah.
Even just when I was in college from 2016 to 2020, because they were just trying to get guys that they would tell like, we're probably going to redshirt you for a year, and then we want to develop you so that way when you're a junior, senior, you're playing. It was the old school model of being like, we just want an older roster. It worked for them, but now I think you can have that buy-in more because the conversation goes both ways, because you can tell a recruit and you can tell someone who's, you know, wanting to get to the highest level of college football, get to the highest level of college basketball. We just want you here so we can develop you, because those big schools won't take you right now. But we think that we can build you into that type of player, and it benefits us because looks like we get some wins out of it. We make you into a great player. More players want to be a part of that process and kind of build you from there.
Yeah, I think the other thing you might start to see is, because I believe the NCAA still considers prep schools as high school.
Yeah.
So, and I think they will continue to under this new rule. I think there was also a time where like you'd see guys go to like Hargrave Military Academy or places like that. I also, for the guys that won't turn 19 at that school, I also think you might see them go there, because then you're not using a year of eligibility. You're getting an extra year of development, and then your clock can start at 19 years old and 5 years in college there. So I think there's going to be a combination of some of these, whether it's JUCOs or prep schools or military academies or whatever, sort of these places where people can adjust or play with their time frame a little bit. I think you're going to start to see a lot of that, and that's going to be for those schools, it's going to be a huge benefit.
Yeah.
And I think for the power conference programs that are using that and utilizing that wisely, I think it can give you a long way in terms of getting a longer, better evaluation and getting a more prepared player to come play for you when they leave those places. I think it's going to be really interesting. I also think it's going to be really weird for a few years.
Yeah.
You're just going to have a handful of years.
I mean, much like when we dealt with the COVID eligibility season, the medical red shirts, all that sort of stuff. One of my first thoughts when I saw this, and I kind of poked at it a little bit yesterday, I initially was like, for college football, offensive linemen just got more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you're going to have old offensive linemen that will hit the portal as juniors, still having 2 years of eligibility left.
22, 23 years old, and you're just like, I got a year left.
Yep. I think that's the opposite of everything that we've been saying, though, especially when it comes to offensive linemen, because you're going to have guys who had not played at Nebraska or Washington or Iowa that will go, okay, I'm going to drop down to mid-major level so I can get tape and that sort of stuff. And, I've sized up all the stuff necessary to do from the high school to Division I football. And then, you're just going to get guys that have more tape, have more development, and aren't maybe as big of projects as some of those schools are used to taking.
That's why what we've seen Jeep Wade do and Lonnie Teasley do in this class, where it's a huge offensive lineman class, and you look at it and you go, okay, they've had a couple classes before this too where guys have developed, and they had to sprinkle in from the portal to kind of make up the gaps there. But when you're looking at this 2 years from now, and I think an offensive lineman is much more willing to sit 2 years, basically sit two full years, and start to get playing time in their third year when they know, I've still got 3 years left to play.
Yeah.
As opposed to, hey, if you sit 2 years, you don't play till your third year. You got it feels like the urgency to get on the field, to get good tape, to have an opportunity to go play in the NFL, like all of a sudden that feels pretty dramatic. I think this is going to help the development of, as Kobe said, the development in college football a ton, but especially along the lines. And the cheapest way to be able to do that is not to go to the portal and go get good players every year. It's to do it yourself. And if you're able to do it yourself, that's going to be a huge advantage for your football program.
And not to get way too, I mean, now I'm starting to get like really
galaxy brained.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little too big.
Yeah.
With no redshirt, like minimum requirement of games that you can play.
Yeah.
Why would you ever schedule tough Power 4 non-conference? Because the more time and the more reps you can get for your guys in game is going to be better for you in the long term. And I don't obviously there's different sides. There's the college football playoff conversation. There's all this other stuff. But if we're expanding to 24 teams and the analysis is, hey, if you get to 9 wins, you feel pretty good. And then you do it from that. Listen, just from Nebraska's perspective, I'll even just say, taking the logo off it and just say from a Big Ten team's perspective, you're going to play enough teams.
Yeah.
Like if we get to 24 teams.
I mean, that's what I've been talking about all
like,
this time is like, you're going to play 3 or 4 really good conference games every year now. That's just what the conference is.
Yeah. I'd rather see Sam Sledge get like 5 games in like his freshman, sophomore year. And then he's played in 10 games going into his junior year or senior year. I'm just using Sam as like an example because I'm in love with Sam Sledge.
Yeah.
But like, if he's like a junior and he's played in 10 games, he's gotten like real reps in a game against Division I opponents and not just playing in practice and red, white spring games and that sort of stuff in April. And he comes in and you're like, okay, I have physically seen him play. I feel like you would be much more confident going in rather than just saying, because you have to imagine there's going to be some Big Ten games that you might get some rotation time in. You might do some other stuff. But I mean, how many guys played? How much better of an evaluation do we have of this summer going into some of the guys that we saw against Akron, against Houston Christian, and against some of those other, kind of tier opponents because we saw them in limited action? And yes, we knew the quality of opponents. We understood it, but we're still excited about Quinn Clark throughout the entire year because of what he did against Akron and also what he did against Utah in the bowl game.
Yeah,
right?
And,
like
and
we saw it throughout, right?
Yeah. So I think the interesting part there is, do you want them to have more tape or more experience or experience against better opponents? And that's the $1 million question, right? Is what value, like how much better are you getting if you only ever see those types of teams, right? And I think you might with a 24 team playoff, which I assume that's where it's going. We don't know yet. But with a 24 team playoff, I think you might start to get a little bit more of a college basketball mindset where it's like, hey, we can drop a couple. That's not like, as long as we get to a certain threshold in terms of wins and we're playing this way by the end of the season, I think you'll see coaches start to adjust and start to make some choices, whether it's in scheduling. You see this in college basketball all the time. When teams think they have a good team, they'll go out and schedule pretty hard, A, to test themselves, and B, to give themselves a resume, especially if you're talking about buys are on the line. You better have a pretty good resume and go out there and say, hey, we beat this team, and this team. We lost to these two, but our strength of schedule was off the charts. We deserve this high seed and a bye.
It's benefited a lot of teams.
So I think there's going to be a combination of both. I think when you're young, and I do wonder if this changes the scheduling model in terms of time frames, because there's no reason you should have to schedule out a college football non-conference game 10 years in advance.
Yeah.
We see this with the neutral site games all the time. They schedule them like a year out. It's fine. Nobody cares. It does not take 10 years of planning. This is in the Olympics, man. You don't need 10 years of planning to schedule a non-con game against Oklahoma State. Like that's not a real thing. For some reason that became the standard. In college basketball, they're fixing their schedule until like 6 months before the season starts.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Creighton had it set like right before their first exhibition.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, we got it.
So like you've got, what home dates you're going to have. And as long as you have those, it really doesn't matter when you set the schedule, in my opinion. And so I think you might see teams wait a little longer or a lot longer to schedule their non-cons to say, okay, we're pretty young this year. This maybe didn't come together the way we wanted it to. Let's schedule a little easier in the non-con, get our confidence up, get some of the young guys reps like you're talking about before we get into conference play versus, hey, man, we've got a bunch of 4th and 5th year seniors. I think we can make a run at a national championship this year. Let's get a couple quality non-conference opponents in here to boost our resume and give ourselves an opportunity to be highly seeded. Maybe that happens. I could see a world in which they move more to a basketball model in terms of scheduling.
That would be nice, because then it's the same thing with, Fred had this problem with the past year of Nebraska basketball because he had said it in the offseason. I remember, I think it was like middle of August or so, that he was like, we have a really, really good team. He's like, we're just frustrated because we can't get the teams that we need to see, and couldn't get them to come to Lincoln, couldn't get them in not neutral sites. Everyone wants to do home and home. And he's even saying that this spring too, where he's like, he hasn't said necessarily that I think we have a great team or a good team or anything like that, but he hasn't
been able to get the games he wants. Yeah. And that's, I think you need lots of teams to kind of think the same way in order for that to work, right? In order for the non-conference scheduling to work in a way that makes sense. I also wonder, I do wonder about the bye games in terms of obviously the financial considerations are a lot greater now that you're paying a $20 million up front plus whatever you have to get out in NIL and things like that, and coaching staffs are bigger and all of that. I do wonder if maybe we don't want to pay $1 million for Akron to come here. Maybe that doesn't make sense anymore. Maybe a neutral site game somewhere makes more sense, where everybody makes a little bit of money. Maybe a home and home with a better team makes sense, where everybody makes a little bit of money, at least in one of those years. I don't know, when you're really talking about financial, being financially savvy and making good financial decisions, I don't know that paying a couple $1 million a year for 3 bye game opponents is going to make a ton of sense moving forward.
Especially when you can directly say, hey, that money could be used.
Yeah, that money goes to a player.
Way. Right.
I could $2 million. It's like, hey, maybe that's an edge rusher. $2 million, maybe that gets me a starting guard. You know what I mean?
So again, if you're a Big Ten team and you're scheduling these bye games and you're telling yourself, okay, well, I could have a better player that helps us throughout the season, or I could schedule maybe a tougher opponent that I don't have to pay either A, as much money for, or B, any money at all.
I don't have to pay for that. This is a game that we both want, and that's it's a real matchup as opposed to a bye game. I do wonder if there is, maybe just the finances of it shift and it becomes $250,000 instead of $1 million or whatever the case is. I do wonder about those bye games though, because I don't know that athletic departments are going to be rushing to write those checks anymore when they're writing a lot more checks than they used to.
Yeah. Bring back rivalries.
Let's do it.
Just Nebraska, save every dollar and cent.
Oklahoma.
You bust to Kansas State, bust to Iowa State,
Missouri,
bust to Missouri, Colorado.
Let's do it.
That's your non-conference every year.
Listen, those are short flights, baby.
Yeah.
Short flights and easy fan trips.
And then you can just tell the entire bus to be like, hey, no Chick-fil-A today. This was not a Chick-fil-A game. It's so that way we could pay Anthony one more year. That's what we needed.
I think they might still go ahead and feed him. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say they might still feed him.
Damon would have he'd probably be okay with that because he wasn't going to eat the Chick-fil-A anyway.
No, he's going to take it, but he's not going to eat it. Apparently Shane's done working for the day, so that's the show.
Shane was done with the conversation.
That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We'll be back with Hurrdat Sports Live tomorrow.
Bye, Shane.
It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at $379 a month, a platinum lease worth driving home. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV starting at $399 a month while supplies last. Don't miss your pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Nissan.